space. We had to travel with whiteboards and get hotel rooms and rent seminar rooms. So you had to charge for the training because you couldn't afford to pay for the seminar room unless you charge everyone who showed up. All right. Well, we're now streaming. So welcome, guys. Tyler, if you could just confirm it is streaming on YouTube, and I believe it said it was, but I exited pretty quick. It says it. Never mind. Shows me right on my screen. We're good. Listen, everybody. Welcome. We're pumped up. We use. I know it's I'm 56 years old, maybe a little immature to say pumped up or enthusiastic. But we are. This is a passion of ours more than a financial engine. It's a passion to reward people and to provide an opportunity. When you hear we set 25% of our company aside to be earned, that could be extremely valuable, and it's set aside and it's in our comp plan details. And we don't sell anything, so we actually can do it. Most companies have fees or other than you can buy your way there. You can't buy your way here. We've got policies and procedures that people game the system and get a bunch of fake customers to earn it. You got to retain it for a year. And then if we find out you game the system and didn't build it, we don't give it to you. So there's some, obviously, it's for the spirit of it. It's not, there's a lot of shifty people who do whatever they can to try to beat a system. It's like people breaking rules in football or baseball or, that's cheating just because we didn't think to put the rule in the rule book. If you show us a thing that doesn't feel right, we'll add the new rule, right? But we've been doing this 30 years, so we think we've got most of the rules in place already. But the spirit of what we're doing, guys, is helping clients and helping you as our client, which is offering you an income opportunity. We're like McDonald's corporate, and you're like one of the franchisees. But we don't say you're always going to be a franchisee. We say, hey, come earn part of our corporation with us. Come earn revenue sharing. Revenue sharing will probably pay more unless there's some big equity event. Revenue sharing, you get percentage of all the revenue every month. So over and above what you've done, and that you can get that at lower rank. So, we hopefully the proof is in the pudding in who we are and what our character is and what our heart is. We've been doing this a long time, and we were on the other side working things and feeling the rug was pulled out from under us, or helping the company get $100 million payouts and not sharing it at all. And we're the reps who built it. They may be the company who started it, but wait a minute. Yeah, you worked hard too, but so did we. And I know this company does not have all the people signing up or attending right now if it's just me. So I understand because I was in the field traveling all over building a team in the past. I know what that's like. Now, you may be here as an affiliate saying, I have no interest in building a team. No problem. You can make full-time money in funding. You can even over time make full-time money with residuals. But tonight's training is about funding. So I want to get right into it because we're gonna use this as an updated tool for our business funding because we've had some changes. So this will replace the one that's there now. You're gonna hear it firsthand, and we'll edit if there's any hiccups. We'll edit. Will probably all be edited out. But you're here live, and we're very thankful for you. We really are. It's a Tuesday night. It's 9 o'clock on the East Coast, 6 o'clock on the West, and you're here. You're spending time with us. You're investing time with us, and I think it is an investment if you apply what you hear, because we really are front runner in business funding. We funded thousands of clients. We're a front runner. We do stuff that other people don't do, and we'll get into that in a minute. But let me share my screen, and so we can. There we go. Let's get to my keynotes. There's some videos. Where's my keynote? Bear with me. Oh boy, this thing. Well, let me do it like this. Well, good thing we can edit all this out. I just pulled up my screen. Somebody's showing my browser. Hang on, bear with me. I got to find my keynote, which is right there. I'm just going to start exiting some of this stuff. There we go. So one window jumped in front of it. All right. Sorry about that. Well, welcome to this training, guys. This is the business funding overview. We thank you for being here. My name is David Rutz, founder of David Allen Capital, and I'm a big fan of all of you because you're entrepreneurs. and you want to help other business owners with this product. And that's what we do. We connect great rock star business owners who are out there making an impact in their community with funding partners who want to help them. Nobody's trying to make money on these clients. Of course, you can earn money, but every one of us, from Bank Breezy to DAC, and hopefully you watching, are in this to help support business owners in your community, not benefit on them. You will benefit for helping them. It's like a doctor. If you're in it because you want to help patients, then you should make a lot of money because you're helping save lives and you're helping things. But if you're just in it to make cash, you probably shouldn't see another patient, right? If you're here just to make money, you probably shouldn't talk to any clients, because I think you'll have commission breath, and commission breath means you won't have integrity or honesty. Okay, most of the time. So we're all about Bank Breezy, DAC, and you. We don't close businesses for funding. We offer and connect, and if it's the right fit and they've got a right use for funds to pay for it, man, they rock and roll with us. So we have a solution for the 80% of the business owners out there who cannot get approved at their banks. They don't have the collateral to put up, they don't have the credit, they don't have the time in business, and they can't get approved at their big bank. We come alongside them. If they can get approved at the bank, they should. But there's a great potential for you to make a great impact. Why? 99% of all businesses in America are small businesses. All your pizza restaurants at your corner, the hair salons, nail salon, roofing companies, those are all small businesses. They're not public companies, they're smaller businesses. 30 million small businesses in America, and they employ almost 60 million people. This is before COVID, so this has gotten worse. 1 out of 3 of those businesses fail in the first 2 years, and the owners lose a ton of money. 1/2 fail in the first 5 years, and the owners lose a ton of money, or they'd keep going. 2 out of 3 fail in the first 10 years. Only 1 out of 3 make it past 10 years. The number one reason, according to the Small Business Administration, on why they fail, all of those: lack of working capital. 82% said lack of working capital, not drive, not dreams, not passion, not bravery, not commitment, lack of working capital. But wait a minute, isn't that what the bank's for? Sure it is, but they're only for the top 20% who are already beyond generally that 10-year plan, or they've got a lot of real estate they can put up as collateral. So the 20% out there who are bankable, they can get credit cards, they can get line of credit from their bank, they can get a secured business loan, they can take a personal mortgage against their house. Those are the people who can get approved. The person who owns the hair salon down on the corner, unless they own that whole strip mall, they don't have collateral unless it's their house. Then it's not a business loan, it's a personal loan on their mortgage. That's how most businesses fund themselves: credit card and personal mortgages, until they can't anymore. What about the 80% who can't get approved for that? That's where you come in. That's where we come in. Their sources are, they can go to their savings, they can go to their friend and family, maybe sell part of their company or get in debt with a relative. Not fun. Or empty their savings account. Scary, but many people are brave. So let's say that restaurant needs 100 grand to expand. It's a real life story, something that happened. One of my first clients. This slide is almost 6 years old, and this is where I got it because I helped a client expand a patio. All right. And what happens? They need a patio. They need 100K to do it. This is before COVID, because they want to expand because they got a line out their door. They didn't have option 1 or option 2. All they had was David Allen Capital, and it came to us, and we went out and found them an offer. We had about 7 banks decline them because they had some erratic revenues, but we had one bank who approved them. One out of all of them. Had they went out and looked themselves, they would have had to stumble on that one funder. We happen to have them for our high-risk providers. So you refer to David Allen Capital, and then what happens is we go find a cure for that working capital disease that causes 81% to close. All right? So you refer them. Our partnership with Bank Breezy is unbelievable. All you do is inform that we exist. They apply at your replicated link, and our experts take over. You don't even present the offer to them. We do everything. In some states, you can't present the offer. In some states, you can't see their documents. So we take all the risk out of your pocket. We have insurance ourselves. We do all the regulations ourselves. You don't have to worry about it if you use your portal. If you use our portal, because our team does it all. But before we go into that funding process, you want to understand our beliefs. If you don't share these, you shouldn't listen to this training anymore. All right, because this is very important. Folks in the house, if you could keep an eye on the admits, our beliefs: number 1, we believe business owners are rock stars. They're brave. They don't have guaranteed paycheck. They got guaranteed risk, right? They start a business. They may make it rich one day, but 8 out of 10 don't, right? We already saw that. They have great ideas in their minds, but they need money to release those ideas and make that bigger impact, right? That restaurant, it was a Mexican restaurant. She said, I need 100 grand because I'm turning customers away. There's a line out. My business is too small. All I can do is add in my patio, put a patio in the parking lot because I can't expand the building. It's too small. Their funding options are limited. She couldn't get money anywhere, right? So brave business owners want to do more. She wants to take on more, hire more, do more sales, serve more customers. And they can't get funding anywhere. So what happens is the revenue-based funding, that's what we do. Alternative revenue-based funding is the best and most accessible option for them. You're going to learn what that means in a minute. It basically means we look at their revenue more than their credit or collateral to approve them, as long as they're doing revenue. DAC represents all the best sources for this type of funding, this revenue-based funding. We're not just one. If you went to Travelocity and looked for Delta, you don't find just Delta. You put in your flights where you want to go and it shows you Delta, America, United. It shows you all of them, right? And then you pick the plane you want to fly on and the airport you want to leave. That's how we are with funding. You apply with us. We go find the best offer from all the top providers so you don't have to stumble your way into the right offer. Delta may be better on this trip, but next week United might be better. So you got to go look at Travelocity because it depends on a lot of factors. Same with funding. This month, this funder might be great. Next month, this other funder may want restaurants, right? DAC's online app sequence is the simplest way to match you with all those sources. All you do is refer them. Our Bank Breezy platform, one-stop best offer, free application. They don't have to pay anything to apply. No obligation to take the offer. The only time they pay fees is when they get money. And they don't pay us, they pay the funder. Instant funding for self-employed. So we have 3 categories of funding here. All right, write these down. Instant funding for self-employed up to 10K, same or next day approval and next day funding, sometimes same day funding, rare. For larger businesses up to 2 million. We've never had an offer over 1.2 million. So just know that, it's unlikely because they got to be doing enough revenue to support it. Most people who are doing enough revenue to support 2 million can get it at their bank, right? Lines of credit up to 100,000. And we have what's called quick reference sheets. You want to look in your agent resource center for the quick reference sheets and the video trainings on each one of these products. We're going to break them down here as well. In this summary of funding, all right? Here's the requirements, basically. You only need to be in business 4 months, not 2 years like banks require. Most must currently be producing revenue and depositing that revenue into a business bank account. The instant funding for like the Uber drivers and stuff, they can have a personal account. But the bigger funding, you need a business bank account and all your sales must be going into it. Sales matter more than credit score. Credit, of course, helps, but we look at their sales revenue. That becomes the strength of the business. Most business owners wreck their credit building their business. So we understand that. We're looking more at their revenue and the strength of that revenue. Meaning, how much are they spending of that revenue? Is their average daily balance staying high or is it going real low? They don't have to have great credit, but a minimum of 500 FICO score is required. Banks require great credit, of course. They don't have to own real estate to put up as collateral. Banks always require. If you want 100 grand, you got to put up $125,000 in freestanding property. If you own a house worth 400,000, but you owe 350, you've only got 50,000 in equity. They would only give you 20, 30 grand, if that. Okay, so, and that would be a second loan on your house. All fundings are paid back short-term, 4 to 18 months. These are short-term advances. So that means the use of the funds have to be able to generate quick turnaround profit to pay for the advance. All fundings have auto repayments. None of them are, hope you send us a check. Every one of them are auto repayment with weekly or daily payments, no monthly payments. We do not have monthly payments. Okay. Now, the good news is you're going to learn how that's actually better for businesses because it's easier for them to manage and they don't get in trouble. Here's a simple funding process just from a big picture. They go to your website, they apply. Then we send them to the Bank Breezy funding platform. They fill out their information. They either go to our Giggle, the pink funder there, our instant funder, or they're retained by the Bank Breezy bigger funding. All right. There's only 2 options. Bank Breezy takes over and talks to your experts for you, or Giggle talks to them. All right. Giggle's all instant. You're going to see that in a minute. Bank Breezy team finds the best offer, presents those terms to the client. The client either accepts it or rejects it. Whenever we give an offer, 75 to 80% of the time, they accept the offer. Okay. So then we go back, we get the documents from the providers. The documents are sent to the client. They signed them. We have a final funding call to verify they haven't taken money the last day or two. It's called stacking. They haven't taken a bunch, trying to get a bunch of loans at the same time, and they won't be able to afford them all. So they do a last minute verification in their bank account. Some of them, not all of them, just to make sure that there's nothing funny going on. And then as long as that all goes good, the funds are wired to the clients. If the funds are wired today, more often than not, there's sometimes large ones or unique like Canada fundings. We don't get paid for 2 weeks. So there's some things that there delays it, but 98, 99% of the fundings we get paid the next day, or even if we don't, we pay you the next day. We've got, I can think of probably 10 fundings we've paid. We haven't been paid yet, but we'll take that risk because we've got great relationships and they just pay us weekly. We're not going to pay you weekly on that funder. So it's just what we do, but you're paid next day. Here's what your website looks like. You've already seen this video, I'm sure, but let's listen to it.
I'm David Rutz, founder of David Allen Capital. I'm an entrepreneur, and my family and I, we believe in the power of entrepreneurs like you. If your business needs working capital to fund its growth, or maybe to get through a tight financial pinch, and if traditional banks aren't the right fit for you, we might just have the funds you need. Our providers are going to look at your cash flow more than your credit score, and we represent all the top alternative providers. So with us, it's one stop for the best offers. Answer some simple questions at our website and see if you qualify. It's a free application with no obligation. David Allen Capital. Let's get to work.
Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. And you notice how on the top of the screen, it says your name, your phone number, your email. All right. So those would be obviously yours. And when they click on it, that way you get credit. Now, once they click on apply now, we're going to send them to our partner. Now, we're partners with this company. We actually helped launch it. All right. This used to be a brand under the David Cap. This was a David Allen Capital brand, actually, called Bank Breezy. But we then we spun it off to make it its own company. And so we're partners in it. Bank Breezy, with if you know Wade Cordell, we form a great partnership. He leads up Bank Breezy. So we send them to the Bank Breezy funding applet. This is an online application they do, 100% online. It's a simple app sequence. I'm going to show you. They just answer a couple questions. But here's the key, guys. We have industry admired funding expert Wade Cordell and his team. I was at a funding conference the other day with one of the biggest funders in our space, and they say if we see Bank Breezy on it, with David Allen Capital, we move it to the top of our funding pile. They don't need to go through step 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 because Wade Cordell and his team have already done that underwriting. We don't waste people's time. If you can imagine, we're sending that application maybe to 10 banks and they're underwriting it and giving us an approval or decline, and they know we're only taking one, but they're okay with it because of how many fundings we do with them. Here's what the applet looks like. Customer simply fills out their name. On the bottom here, you see agent name, agent ID. Your name would, of course, be there. They click submit. Now watch this. They simply answer business bank account or personal bank account. How much sales are you doing per month? Your lowest revenue in the last 90 days. What type of funding are you seeking? Line of credit, loan or advance, or both? And at that time, we give 3 options. Number 1, after just those questions, we put them in 3 buckets. First bucket, sorry, you're declined. You're not qualified at this time, because they're not doing 3,000 a month in revenue, right? Or they're doing 3 to 5, but they're in one of the states that that Giggle doesn't fund in, which is New York and California. So smaller companies not doing enough revenue would be declined, unfortunately, or they've not been in business long enough. Giggle Finance would get to a bunch, and Bank Breezy, bigger funding, is retained. So our instant funding is Giggle. So they instantly approve $400 to $10,000. If they go to the right, because they're doing more than $15,000 a month, you're going to see this in a minute, they can get between $5K and $2 million. Here's what happens, how the bucket determines it, or how the app sequence determines it. Look on the left. If any of the following apply, lowest monthly revenue is $3,000 to $15,000, they go to Giggle. Or their personal bank account, doesn't matter what the revenue is, at least it's $3,000. So if they're doing $50,000 a month, but their personal bank account, they have to go to Giggle. We must have a business bank account at Bank Breezy, right? So this has allowed us to fund thousands of more deals, literally thousands, because we did this bucket change, this app sequence, because we couldn't approve them with our bigger funding, but now we found a smaller funder who will do it for us, right? We've had a couple smaller funders, and we've probably funded 2,000 to 3,000 businesses just in these. Actually, more than that, a lot more than that now when I consider that, just in these. Lowest monthly revenue Well, you see that. It's not available in New York and California. So we have got sheets called quick reference sheets. You can look up Giggle and you can see this if you're not following completely now. Bank, we just want you to know this process exists. Here, how would they go to Bank Breezy? If they're doing, if their monthly revenue is 15,000 plus and they have a business bank account that's not in their personal name, meaning it's not like David Rutz. It may be David Allen Capital with David Rutz's name on it with it, but it's a business account. Then if that's the case, it goes to Bank Breezy. Or if it's a qualified Giggle client doing at least $5,000 a month, but they're in New York or California, right? Because Giggle doesn't fund in New York or California. So if they're in New York or California and they would have been a Giggle, and at least if they're at least doing $5,000 and they have a business bank account, we'll take them over at Bank Breezy. So we move them there automatically too. You don't have to worry about that. All right. So the quick reference sheets are in your back office, and they're going to explain everything in 3 sheets, what I'm about to show you. But those 2 squares there just said the exact same thing. So this is basically all the slides I've showed you so far. That's why we say look at them. And then we got the funding reference sheets for Bank Breezy, which is the bigger funding. The qualifications, the status updates, the minimum requirements, how much they can get approved for. It's all on one sheet of paper. And then we have the same thing for Giggle, all on one sheet of paper. So make sure you have those in front of you and you learn them. But I'm going to go through some of the features right here. Let's look at bigger funding. That's where most of your clients are going to be if you're talking to actual business owners, larger, retail establishments, etc. Bigger funding we do from 10,000 to 2 million bucks. Sometimes it will be lower, but we like to think it's 10,000 to 2 million. Approximate approval amount. Here you go, guys. It's 1 to 2 times their monthly sales. Someone's doing 100,000, we can get them 100 to 200,000. Okay. Now it's not always guaranteed. All right. Sometimes it will be lower if they already have advances right now, or if they have low daily balances, or they've been bouncing checks, or they have negative days. Things that add risk may say, hey, we can only give you 60,000, even though you're doing 100,000 a month, because your average daily balance doesn't support paying back $100,000 deal, right? All right. The frequency deposit will help. The number of NSS hertz and the average daily balance hertz or helps. These are the things that help you know whether am I going to get near 1 time or 2 times or under 1 times. I've never seen one do more than 2 times. Payment history will earn you more, or what's called add-on or renewals. So if they've been making good payment history with us, the provider who looks at it, they don't need to pull a credit again. They don't need to do all that. They go, okay, you making good history. Send me your last month's payment, bank statements. Let me see how much revenue you're doing now. Did the last advance help you? Are you growing? Great. We can afford to give you add-on money. We had someone yesterday, maybe it was the day before, took $400,000 more, and they had gotten, I think that was their 3rd or 4th advance. And so it's over $1 million they've taken from us over the last few years, and the agent referred them 1 time. So those are add-on funds or more funds. Some of those have a lower commission amount. Of course, remember I said it's 4 to 8% generally, sometimes lower because they cut our commission to pay on huge ones. Minimum qualifications, again, 4 months in business. I already went through these. 15,000 per month in sales each of the last 3 months. Well, Dave, I only did 7,000. They're not going to get approved. They got to do 15,000 minimum each of the last 3 months. Business checking account, 500 plus FICO score, last file business taxes if they want over $150,000. Not all our providers require that, but it's not uncommon. Terms, 4 to 24 months, as I said. Cost of capital is generally 1.19 to 1.5. What does that mean? That's not an interest rate. This is the easiest part of our business. This is the easiest thing to explain. You tell someone they're paying 7% amortized monthly for 13 years. They have no clue what that means. You don't, I don't, they don't, unless you look at a calculator, right? Maybe some of you do. Shouldn't say that. Most don't. Business owners can't on the phone make that decision. But let me ask you this. If I said to you, will you loan me $5 and I'll pay you back $8? You know what you're making, $3. You know it. I know it. It's costing me $3. It's a lot of costs. I'm paying you 1.6 times what I got. So I'm paying you back 8 on my 5, 1.6 times. Our advances aren't that expensive, but they're 1.19 times to 1.5, meaning, in fact, we do have some super high risks that do go up to 1.6. But let's say you got 10,000, you're going to pay back 11,900 to 15,000. So the benefit of that 10,000 must be worth something. There's no collateral, expensive. Example, you get 20,000, you may repay 27,000. So if you got $20,000 and you're going to invest that into inventory, but you're going to sell them for 62,000, then you go, cool. As long as I sell the inventory over the next 8 months, I'll be able to use the sales to pay off the 27 grand and I'll benefit with all that extra profit. And I can't do it without the 20 grand. Or that lady that wanted to expand her patio. I need 100 grand, Dave. She was at the highest interest rate. In fact, I first told her she was declined. I said, I'm sorry, I got declined everywhere. And I knew I had one that was 1.5. It was the first one I ever promoted or let someone take at 1.5. And I said, so you're declined. She goes, oh man, I'm missing out on so much revenue. I said, well, I did get you one approval, but I'm embarrassed to even tell you the amount. They want you to pay back $150,000 in 9 months. We'll give you 100. She goes, I'll take it. See, she understood it. I get 100. I got to pay back 150 over 9 months. You don't understand. I can have the patio built in 6 weeks and I can start doing revenue. She paid it off early and her sales are up. I forget the amount. I don't want to misquote the amount that her sales are up every month, but she's not needed any more money. And she paid it off early from sales and I want to say it was $400,000 extra in profit per year. 400,000 rings in my head. It wasn't monthly. I don't think that was monthly increase. I think that was extra profit a year based on that, or 400,000 in revenue extra a year based on that patio. And she paid it off in months. So you see why there's a benefit sometimes, even at crazy high pricing. Repayment via daily and auto deduction, sometimes weekly. This is why this healthy, guys. If you're a business owner and you do $7,000 in revenue today and you do 8,000 tomorrow and you do 3,000 the next day and you do 15,000 the next day and 12,000 and 10,000, and at the end of the month, you got to pay an $8,000 bank loan, you better have that $8,000 or you're starting to pay it late. And then you're paying late fees. And then all of a sudden you're getting behind. Maybe you've experienced with a car, maybe, but what if your car payment, they took, instead of $300 a month, they took $10 a day out of your bank? You wouldn't even notice it. You paid the 300, you don't even notice it, especially if you have revenue coming in every day. These businesses have revenue coming in every day. So they can pay back a monthly payment in micro payments that make it extremely affordable. Our providers know what you can afford per day. Some people go, well, I don't know if I'll have that daily payment. They know you have it or they wouldn't give you the money. And if you have a dip in sales, you can call and talk to them and they'll adjust your payment for a little while. So it's a very natural relationship between you and the funder. Okay. The client will learn to love it. All right. Example, $27,000 payback in 9 months. Might have to pay back in that example up above. They might have to pay back 150 day, Monday through Friday. Banks aren't open Saturday and Sunday. Holidays, you don't make a payment. So Monday through Friday, $150 a day. At the end of the month, they've paid $3,000 and they don't even know it. Okay. They don't miss it, because they're probably doing $1,200 to $1,300 a day in revenue. It's usually about 8 to 9% of the daily payments. Usually never more than 8 or 9% of the daily revenue, unless they have a big profit margin. Prepayment discounts, if they pay early, they don't have to pay all their interest. So if they agree to pay back 27,000, maybe halfway through they say, I want to pay it off, and they still own 3,500 of that interest, maybe they'll take 25% off that and they'll only have to pay 2,900 instead of 3,500. Stuff like that. Okay. It's a very simple process. I already showed it to you. You send your clients to David Allen Capital, business capital /ID number, your replicated site. They complete and sign an online application. They go through that app sequence. They complete an online application. They upload 3 months bank statements. They upload one of their checking account. They upload one voided check from that checking account, and they upload a driver's license. If they have more than one bank account, they got to upload 3 months bank statements for every bank account, every checking account they have. All right. Because they're going to use all that revenue to qualify. Bank Breezy expert team takes over from there. They get that app sequence. Now you'd be notified as well. We'll show you that in statuses, but they take over. They go find the best offer. They then hear all those offers. They compile them. They present them to your client through email and phone call and text. And so your client can say yes or no, or call them back, and they talk it through and they go, okay, I get it. Yeah, I understand it. You're giving me 40. I got to pay back 48. Is that a good deal for me or not? Or I got to pay back 52. Is that a good deal for me or not? Let me think about it. What am I going to do with this 40? Man, I was just going to put it in the bank. It's not a good deal then. Well, I was going to use that to do ABC. It's a great deal then. You're growing your profit. You're going to build a patio and you're going to generate an extra 400 grand and you're going to pay it out. See, Bank Breezy expert team finds the best offer, presents it. They answer, our people talking to your clients have all individually helped over 1,000 clients get funding. So would you rather be talking to them about their offer or would you rather Bank Breezy talking to them about their offer? There's the underwriters in our space are constantly offering to do things for Bank Breezy because they want our businesses. We don't send them garbage. We don't send them a package if it's not going to get approved. Wade's team looks at it, says, decline. Sorry, we're not going to send it. And if he's got something unique, they can call, our team can call an underwriter and say, hey, here's a unique situation. I remember I was going through a real hard time in the past, but one of my partners owned a Jeep dealership. And this is back when I was a young man in my early 20s. And I was a business partner with someone. He owned a dealership and I was going through a hard time. I couldn't get approved anywhere for a car. And I called him. His name was Jim. And I said, Jim, I'm trying to get a car right now and I'm in a hard spot. And he said, hang on a minute. He called Chrysler and he said, I got someone here. I want to vouch for him. Can you get him a Jeep? Yeah. Okay. Next thing I know, I've got a black Jeep Limited sitting there because of a relationship. Wade and his team, when they call an underwriter, it's that type of thing. When that Jeep owner sold thousands of Jeeps, they'll take a risk on one. And if we've got all these clients, they'll take a risk on one for us because they want, if we're saying we want this one to happen, we want this one to go through. Sometimes they will, not always, because Wade would never do that if it's not a good deal. Wade would never do it if it's not a good deal, but those are the type things. Now, don't ask him to do that for you, but the point is, know that that's the type of relationship we have. They either have DocuSign then, or they do an online checkout. They sign those documents. Then there's a funding call, sometimes not always, but more than likely with the client to make sure they understand everything because it's all been done digital. Make sure they understand the terms. They haven't been oversold by you or by Bank Breezy. The funder wants to talk to them too. Make sure it's all good. It's never a problem with us. Wade has to correct things a lot. So make sure you don't oversell what we can offer. Don't offer the moon when we can't get even off the ground with them. So then once they do that bank last verification, make sure they haven't taken funds again, money's sent and you're paid the next day. By the way, they pay the fees. So there's 0 to 5% funder fees that are charged by the funder. And what they do is, let's say you got approved for 100 grand, and it's a 2% fee. They send them $98,000 so that they don't have to write a check to us before they get the money. Like some companies, they'll pay me and then we'll send it to you. They just say, hey, there's a 2% funding fee. We don't determine that. We don't make any of that. It does not affect your commissions, whether that's 1% or 5%. It doesn't, or 0. It does not affect what you earn. We don't get paid on that at all. So just know that. Miscellaneous. Couple things. Status updates. As soon as they fill out and upload their bank statements, you're going to get status update 1. It says you've got a new client starting the process who've just completed the application. You'll also see them in your DAC back office. So you get an email from Bank Breezy, and then it'll be in your back office under My Funding Customers. And they'll be listed there, and it'll have a status of waiting on documents or all documents received or whatever it's at. If we got all the documents and we submit them, that'll change to submitted, waiting for offer. And then it's offer approved or declined. And then waiting on client or offer presented to client. And then after offer presented, offer accepted by client, documents signed, business funded. So those are the statuses. And of course, anywhere along the way, you can get a decline. Now, just know this, sometimes the status updates, when you get a decline, we can't tell you everything. We'll give you generalities, especially when it comes to legal things like fraud in their background or arrests. We've had people apply who just got out of jail for murder. Some of them we got approved because, the funder wanted, the business was good, but some things like that cause some concerns. And we've a lot of fraud people who've lied on their bank statements or created financial theft in their past. So there's things that sometimes are going to cause a decline that we just can't say. You're upset, they're upset. I'm doing 40,000 a month, and these guys are scammers, and we're sitting here knowing you just committed fraud over here. We know it, but we can't tell you, and we can't tell the client. So we just say decline for not qualifying. All right. So that doesn't mean everyone that says decline not qualifying has got fraud, but sometimes we can't give you the credit score. There's certain things we can't do because we're not doing the Fair Credit Reporting Act where we then send them and they can do a credit report and all that. This is not a loan. This is an advance. We just need their FICO score to make some decisions. But so there's certain limitations in what our decline status says. So just know that you can email support and all that. We can't tell you any more than the decline message says. It'll say in the decline reason, the reason for decline, like failed to meet credit requirements or failed to meet revenue requirements, or so we try to when we can, but sometimes we can't. So just know that compensation is paid to you usually the day after. Like I said, we paid some today that we've not been paid on. We paid some yesterday, we're still not paid on, paid the day before, we're still not paid on. If it's like a massive one, obviously we may wait a few days to wait till we get paid. It's paid to your free account. Now there is something called clawbacks. We've only had a handful of these, less than 10, not counting our instant funding, less than 10 in all the thousands of fundings we've done. But what it is if your client does not make payments like first, second, third payments, our rules say if they default intentionally within 30 days, because our clients, our lenders will make relationships with them and stuff. But if they default intentionally within 30 days, they can take back our commission, which means we can claw it back from you. So you just got to know that it's so rare. But if you got someone goes, I'm going to take this money and run, you will have your commission sucked back. All right. And if they feel there's a clawback risk, usually like when the agent is new and gets the money themselves and they want to make a commission on it and get the money, we hold their commission until we know they've got, especially if we don't know the agent. So there's times when we don't pay next day, but clawback has been so rare. It's less than 10 out of the thousands we've done. And sometimes even our providers don't claw back from us. So we don't claw back from you, even if they default, because we've done such good business with them. They're like, we're not going to, this is on us. We shouldn't have underwritten this one. We knew it, you knew it, you told us not to, that type thing. But so if they do, we just retract it from your future commissions. So just know that. So that was your bigger funding. We're going to go through how to attract clients in a minute. Now we're going to, and these will be separate videos, but now we're going to do terms and conditions and more information about Giggle funding. All right. Giggle funding can get you up to 10K in under 10 minutes. Sometimes it takes 10 hours. Sometimes it takes 2 days based on the pace of the customer, not the pace of Giggle. So up to 10K in under 10 minutes. They do fundings from $400 to $10,000. The approval amount here is much, much lower. These are super high risk. In fact, right now, about 7% of the people who get the money don't even make their first payment and never do. We don't get paid on those. So that's how high risk this is. Approximate approval amount is 25 to 75% of their monthly sales. How do you get near the high end? You're taking credit cards. You're doing great revenue. You've been doing something for a long period of time. Credit cards mean a lot of the revenue's coming in on credit cards. That's high probability it's going to continue. Where you're on the low end, you're a 1099, you get a check twice a month. It looks like you could quit at any time. You have a job somewhere else, so it's not even your primary source of income, right? So they look at these types. The computer knows what to look for based on the bank statements. All right. So example, someone's doing 5,000 monthly sales. The offer would be 1,250 to 3,750. Frequency deposits helps huge. This should say huge on these. A number of NSFs hurts horrendously on these. If they're struggling and bouncing checks, they're probably going to get declined. Average daily balance hurts and helps big time. These are high risk. So those 4 things right there, frequency of deposit, revenue amount, NSFs, average daily balance is big time required to be strong. If they don't have those, would you give the person a signature advance knowing that they may or may not pay? Would you give them $3,000 if they're doing 6,000 in sales a month only? If they've got real bad NSFs, real bad average daily balance? Probably not unless they were your relative. So we're grateful that Giggle does this. They take risks with a lot of businesses and diversify well. Qualifications, 6 months in business, 3,000 a month minimum each of the last 3 months. Well, David, they only did 1,000. Don't waste time applying. Tell them to wait until they got 3 months of 3,000. This does not include their job income. This does not include Social Security. This is not deposits in the bank. This is deposits from their business into the bank. Okay. So they see General Motors, they're not going to count that. They see a regular paycheck every month, they're not going to count that. So they're looking, they know they have algorithms that run all this and they can screen the right things out. That's why you have to link your bank account. Personal or business checking account is fine. You can't have a personal bank account on the bigger funding, but on these small ones you can. It's not available in New York or California. So if they're in New York or California, they cannot get Giggle funding unless they're doing more than $5,000 a month and they have a business bank account. Then our funding app sequence of Bank Breezy automatically moves them over to the Bank Breezy bucket. All right. Takes them away from the Giggle bucket because they're New York and California and they're doing 5,000 and they have business bank account. They'll move. If they got a personal account, they get the decline stamp. Okay. Terms, very similar to the others. They got to pay back in 4 to 7 months. These are all weekly payments, interestingly enough. We don't get clawbacks on these, but if they don't make their first payment, we don't get paid. It's called the default. We upload it into your back office as a zero when we get paid commissions. That way, you know, oh, this one defaulted. You're not calling, where's my commission? Where's my commission? All right. Cost of capital is 1.2 to 1.6. Their average is 1.35. Maybe it's more like 1.38 now. Cost has gone up in the last year. All right. So just somewhere in the 1.3, 1.4 range is the average cost, but it can get as high as 1.59. That sometimes they'll say, we're only giving this deal if you'll pay this much because it's such a high risk for us. We got to get it back in the risk. That way, if you only pay 3 weeks, we've earned a little more, et cetera. Example, you get $4,000, you may have to pay back 4,800 to 6,400. What are you going to do with that $4,000? Well, I just, I was thinking about, going skiing. Okay, that ski trip's going to cost you 4,800 to 6,400 now. You still want to take this $4,000? No. What are you gonna do with this $4,000? Well, my truck, I'm a tow truck driver and I pull cars and my engine just blew and I need $4,000 to replace my engine. Okay. Will you generate at least 4,800 to 6,400 over the next 7 months? Yeah. And I will generate zero if I don't have this. So I have to generate it and I'll pay back 4,800 for an engine instead of not having an engine, or I'll pay 64 for an engine instead of not having an engine because I can't tow any trucks with my car sitting on the side of a road. So there's needs sometimes, but we don't want to put people in debt. We want to fuel their business. So make sure you're very clear with people. This is not a long-term amortized loan like a mortgage where they can sit on it for 30 years and pay pennies on the dollar and end up paying 3 times what they got. But you don't feel it because you're paying for 30 years, right? These, you feel it. You're paying it back in 9 months. So you better generate revenue from it. Add-on funding and renewals are available. Prepayment discounts are available. Simple process. Same thing. You send them to davidallencapital.com. But now you go to the gig funding page. And again, these are in your welcome email with your ID after that. So if your ID is 12345, it would be, obviously you'd add 12345 after that second slash. They then go to the Bank Breezy online applet, and then that forwards them to the Giggle bucket. And in Giggle, they have to link their online banking via Plaid. This is the biggest reason for people to be declined. They don't link their bank. And if they cannot link their bank, there's 3 reasons they can't link their bank with Plaid. By the way, Plaid is just a third-party software that banks trust, that you sign into, you put your credentials in, and it can look in your bank. QuickBooks uses it. A lot of these companies use it, and it can then pull in data from your bank so that the computer at Giggle can make their decision. And we're not the only ones using Plaid. Plaid is the most trusted resource for linking banks with other institutions' computers to look at it. But there's 3 reasons they can't link their bank. Number 1, they don't have their login credentials right. They're going to have to use their username and password. Now, side note, if someone says, I don't want to enter, I say, go in and change them for an hour. If you're worried about your username and password being out there, change it before you apply and make it, Giggle 1, 2, 3, 4 for an hour. And after you get the approved, go change it back. So we get it. If they're a little sensitive to that, just tell them change it for a minute. And like most of us do anyway, if we're concerned about that, but they don't have their login credentials right. So I would always say, did you log into your bank to make sure you've got your password saved right? And maybe your wife changed it the other day or who knows. So start there. 5 out of 10 times it's right there. They got the wrong password. You all know what that's like, but you don't have the opportunity to have the bank say, reset your password here on Giggle. So go to have them go there and make sure they got their right credentials. Number one. Number two, they might have security settings on their bank that says they cannot be connected by any third party financial sources like QuickBooks or Quicken or mortgage companies or Plaid. So that's usually not a default setting. Usually they have to select that, but they got to go turn that off. Some banks like Chase, it's a default, or it was. They may have changed that, but it was a default setting to not allow third party connections. So they'd have to go in and change that setting. And then the third reason is if they're part of a small bank, small credit unions, about 5 or 6% of the banks in America don't link to Plaid or QuickBooks or any of these online companies. So they're just not going to be able to link and they'll be unfortunately declined. There's nothing we can do. Well, Dave, they're doing great revenue. Yeah, well, unfortunately, this is an instant funder. They don't look at bank statements. Their computer has to be able to link. There's no workaround, none whatsoever. They accept, so they link their banks, they get an approval. After that, they say, I accept the terms. And then they sign the agreement online. And then final underwriting occurs because there's a lot of cost to final underwriting. About 40 to 50% of the people don't accept their offer. So can you see why they're not going to do all the underwriting? On this, it's a higher percentage don't accept the offer because it's a small amount. And if it can't get them what they need, they don't want to pay all that extra money for something that doesn't get them where they need to go. The larger fundings, almost 80% accept the offer we give them. So it's much more useful for your time. But there's an actual final underwriting done after they've signed the documents. And it's at that point on Giggle, they actually pull a credit report. It's not because they want to look at it. It's because they use, I think it's Experian. One of them can't do the final underwriting steps, background checks and stuff without an actual credit report. So there is on Giggle only, the small ones, our big ones don't do a credit report. They just pull a score. But on the little ones, they do pull a credit report as the last step. There's not a funding call. There's random funding calls. It's usually done electronically, but you will have about 10% of the businesses, even after they sign, get declined because of something in their background that wasn't checked yet, because that's the expensive part of background check. And they're not going to do that for someone who's not going to accept the offer. I mean, keep in mind, guys, some of these are only $700 deals and they're making $110. It may cost them $30 to do a background check, and then they're paying us a commission. And so be understanding. We didn't have this provider at one time, and we decided to do it. But unfortunately, the smaller the fundings, the more time and the more risk there is. So I wouldn't lead with this, but this is a great product to have. You receive the funds. Now with this, you're not paid till the 20th of the next, actually the 21st of the next month. So any fundings that we do in February this month on Giggle, we won't know about it till the 20th of next month. You'll get some updates, you'll get some status updates, but we don't know if they defaulted or paid until the 20th of next month when we get our commission report. And we actually get it around the 18th or 19th. We upload it on the 20th, and that's when you'll know whether you got funding or not, and then you're paid on the 21st. The 20th falls on a weekend, then we upload it the Monday after the weekend, and then you're paid the next day. Some miscellaneous stuff about Giggle. Status updates from Bank Breezy when the app is started. If you used your live link, if they don't click on your live link, we don't have your email. We don't know. They may enter your agent ID, they may enter your name, but your email doesn't go into our CRM at that point. All right. If the client is stuck, client only, you can't. But write that down, help@gigglefinance.com or this cell number, 888-820-7580. That's where they can call if they get stuck. But if they're going to ask for an exception, like, hey, I can't link my banks, they're wasting their time. If they're going to say, hey, come on, man, I got declined, can you tell me why? They're wasting their time. All right. So they're going to just tell them, we'll send you a letter, or sorry, your decline statement was on your screen. They get that. We alone send them almost, well, I'll just say on a low end, I'm looking at how many emails I get because I get a copy email every time we apply with Giggle. I have to erase hundreds daily. So I don't know. Sometimes I know there was a time we were doing over 30,000 applications a month. So it's up, it fluctuates up and down, but just to our instant funders. So I would say, it's probably right now about 15,000 applications a month we're sending them, maybe 20. So they're not going to answer every call on a $700 loan. That's why credit cards do instant funding and send you a letter. They're giving you 4 or 5 grand. You just can't do it. So be mindful. You're an independent agent with us. You're one of our partners. You're representing us when you call Giggle or when you go off on Giggle and blow up on Giggle. And it's not, they're our partners. We're your partners. We'll never go off on you for getting something wrong. Don't go off on us for making a mistake or go off on Giggle because of their policies. You know them now in advance. If you don't like the policies, don't refer the business. It's really simple, right? There's terms and conditions to our loans and our advances. There's terms and conditions to our pay plan. Learn them, be comfortable, then rock and roll. And if you're not comfortable, zip your lip and go do something else, right? It's pretty simple. Funded clients added the 20th. I already said that. Funded email from DAC the next day. Yes, and it goes to Bank Breezy. Okay. Revolving line of credit. So we already talked about bigger funding at Bank Breezy. We talked about Giggle instant funding. Now we're going to talk about the lines of credit, which is getting more and more hard to get approved for. It's a tough industry out there. Most banks have pulled their lines of credit, even from people who had it. I was talking to a doctor friend of mine. He's had a line of credit since 2004. He's had it. He's never paid it late. He always pays it down. And they told him about 5 months ago, they're calling his line of credit. You know who? I won't say who he's a doctor for, because then you could figure out who he is. And I don't want to share private information. But he's been a doctor to celebrity athletes and still is. And his line of credit was pulled, and he makes great money. And his line of credit was pulled. Why? Because the bank isn't giving them. It's not about your credit. It's sometimes the bank says, we're not doing them right now. We can't give you any more money. It's too risky right now. So it's harder for us to get them for low credit people too, or smaller business, but we still can. We just had a bunch today come in, just lines of credit just today. Lines of credit from 6,000 to 100,000. They can take funds out as they're needed, and they only pay for the money they take. It's like a credit card. You only pay interest on the money you use. As they pay back, the funds are available to take again. It's called revolving. Very hard to get approved for. Here's the minimum: 2 years in business, 250K annual sales, business checking account, 675 credit score. That's on the low end. 720 or up is what you want them to have. Frequency deposit is almost mandatory. It helps big time. Number of NSFs, it's mandatory it's near mandatory. They better not have a lot of them in the last 3 months. Average daily balance, same thing. So the same type things hurt it. They get 12 to 24 month repayment. What that means is, and this is actually 0 to 5% draw fee. It says 0. I must have it on a different screen. I'll have to find that. But 12 to 24 months repayment, 0 to 5% draw fee. What we mean by 12 to 24 months, if you get, just like your credit card, if you use $1,000, they set up a minimum payment to pay it off in 3 years, let's say. And then you pay that minimum payment, and you may have only spent $300, but you're going to pay it for this little payment for 3 years, and they're going to make a ton of money on you. They set up the payment schedule as if you're going to take 12 to 24 months. The better the credit, the better approval, they give you longer to pay it off. You pay more interest because you only pay for what you have out, but they'll let you pay it longer, makes your payment lower. All right. No monthly fee. Interest costs approximately 90.96 weekly. So if you got $1,000, what's $1,000 times 1%? $10. So it'll cost you $10 a week for that $1,000. Okay. If you've got 100,000, it's going to cost you $1,000 a week till you pay it back. Right. So that gives you an idea of what it costs. Oh, there it is right there. $960 weekly will be your weekly payment if you've got $1,000 out. Now, if you kept it for 1 week and you pay that payment $960 this week, and next week you pay off all 1,000, okay, it only costs you $960 plus any draw fee. Some of them are 0 draw fee. What that means is if you take $5,000, they may charge you anywhere from 0 to 5% of that 5,000 as a draw fee, because they're not making much in the interest, right? They're taking a lot of interest. So you may pay a draw fee because it costs them transaction costs to do a draw, ACH fees. And you go, okay, I got a $100,000 draw. I want to take $700 out today. Tomorrow I'm going to take $400 more. The next day I'm going to take $800. They got to charge you a fee. Otherwise, it starts to get costly to them. Repayment set at the time of each draw, weekly payment or monthly. Sometimes our better ones will do a monthly, but it's rare. And then that would pay it off for that term, like 12 months or 24. You can always pay it early. They can pay off early, save big time. They only pay the interest for what they've got. Same process as bigger funding. You send them to your replicated site. They complete and sign the online application. They upload their bank statements, 3 months minimum, voided check, driver's license. The Bank Breezy expert team takes over from there. They, by the way, they always also check for a working capital advance in case they get a decline on line of credit. All right, so don't worry about that. If they get declined, know that we're declined for both. They go for line of credit and they say, sorry, we can't help you. They also got declined for working capital advance, which is easier to get approved. Because if they didn't, they say, sorry, we couldn't get you a working capital line of credit, but we were able to get you a working capital advance. Costs a little more, doesn't work like a line of credit. But we can get you money now, and as you pay off half, we can get you more. And as you pay it off, you can treat it like a line of credit, but you have to pay. It's unfortunately you weren't approved for a lock. They're harder to get approved for right now. But when they are approved, same thing. The Bank Breezy team is notified by your client after they present the offer to them that they want to take it. Our Breezy team asks our funder to provide the documents to the client. They go to the client. Client signs it. Sometimes there's a funding call to make sure, again, they didn't take a loan yesterday that wasn't on the bank statements we saw. So it depends on the risk of the client. There's many times a funding call where they verify your bank information. They have ways to verify your bank with your login or use a software like Plaid. And then once it's open, they must take some money immediately. You can't just open it and sit on it like a credit card. There's a lot more cost to this. And so lines of credit sitting there open are costly. So instead of saying we're going to charge you a fee, they say you have to take some money. And then they charge you a fee of that, or at least they're making some interest. They don't want to do all this work to not earn anything. And keep this open draw for you. Some miscellaneous stuff in line of credit. Status update from Bank Breezy when the app is started. This is just like the bigger funding. It's all, if they use your live link. If they don't, you'll still get paid on it, but you won't have live status updates. They manually entered your ID. Your email did not go into the Bank Breezy system. It's in the DAC system. It only pulls from into Bank Breezy if they use your DAC link. Otherwise, we don't know if it's the right Joe Smith. So we don't want to guess. Sometimes they don't put agent IDs, etc. So you'll get status updates and it'll be logged into your back office, into your funding updates, and you'll see them updated. If you see a client's not showing up in your status updates in DAC and you know they're going through it, contact support from your back office. Use contact us and say, hey, I've got a client, Bill Smith Roofing is in the middle of the process. I don't see them in my back office. And we can then look up and find out and then link them to you in the DAC back office. And after we verify you, in fact, are the agent of record, and then you'll start seeing the status updates from there. If you're not getting status updates and they're not changing, that means the client is non-responsive. If it's us, it's going to move. The only reason someone doesn't get an offer in one day is because either a high risk and we had to go to a bunch of additional providers. So we don't go to all the highest risk providers until we know we have to. So if you got an offer that's taken a few days, we're at the high risk providers and they're taking longer. The best providers declined the deal. So that's part of our waterfall process. So be patient. Don't get up. You said one day, hey, we can decline the offer. They were declined from all of our one-day providers. So if you want us to decline it to give you the time sequence, how about don't promise one day? As fast as one day, say that. Could take up to 3 days to get approval if it's a high-risk client. It does. Best risk, they get funded in 3 hours. The best risk, our best providers, they give offer, funding. We'll do it right now, online checkout, done. Or we'll give it. So just know that we're working harder on the high risk ones. If it's taken longer, once we submit the package, there's a lot of work going on at Bank Breezy. So just hang tight, be patient, let them know, hey, we're working through the waterfall process, finding you the best offer. All right. There's some manual work involved in that. And then, of course, when they're funded, you'll get a funded email and there'll be status and you'll get paid the next day. With draws, you get paid after each draw. Now, the draws were not notified real time. So like some of our draw partners tell us once a week. So they may draw money on Tuesday, but we don't know about it until Monday of next week. And so we can't pay you until Tuesday of next week. So the draws are not real time, just so you know. You got a friend who says, I took money out. I didn't get paid. Just be patient. We only get paid on draws once a week from all of our draw providers, so we can only pay you accordingly. That's why we always say the day after we're paid, we pay you. All right, so let's take a little break for a second. That was going over the buckets. So I'm going to stop sharing for a minute before we go into attracting clients. And if you can think again for a moment, if you can visualize that bucket, those three quick reference sheets have everything that I just went through on all those slides. I wanted to add context to it, but really, if you took those quick reference sheets for the line of credit, giggle funding, and big business funding, and you put them in front of them and read them and study them, you'll see all the similarities. And then if you have them in front of you and you're making calls, you'll see all the similarities. Even our marketing materials have a lot of the things like minimum requirements or approval amounts. So eventually this will be, like riding a bike. All right. As long as you get on it and learn how, it's pretty hard to forget how, right? Now we always have changes to the funding. There's always little changes. Like you saw 0% lock fee, it's 0 to 5. So it depends because there's always changes. And we are running a special for 0. So somehow that slide remained here. I typed 0 to 5 myself earlier today. So it may come up here in a little while in the wrong place. But the good news is once you understand this and you know that your job is to fit clients who need funding with our ability to offer it, and never straddled people with debt, but instead always under promise. And when we say under promise, that means when someone says, hey, can I get 5 years? Unfortunately, we don't. This is revenue-based funding. It's counting on your revenue. And we can't assume you're going to have the same revenue 5 years from now. So these are short term. The younger your business, the shorter the term, because your revenue is the security. And if there's any risk that revenue can go down, or if your last 3 months it did go down, they got to base their advance on what you did last month, not what you did 2 months ago. If it's doing this, it may continue and you won't be able to pay them back. So that scares people. And you got to know certain things like that. So you're going to learn these things. It's never a guarantee. Strong business, guaranteed. The only thing that would kill that is the client said they didn't want it, right? But you got a business that's really producing revenue, and it's an average business. 8 out of 10 of our businesses who have 15,000 a month in revenue have been in business 4 months or more, or 6 months or more, I'll say, and have 3 months bank statements with at least $15,000 in revenue, have a regular average daily balance that supports what it should be doing 15,000 if they're a restaurant or hair salon or roofing company. All of them have a different average daily balance. As long as they're at the average or better, they're a strong account. If they got a bunch of days where the bank account was below 0, that's a concern. All right. Because that's a risk. It could happen next month. How are you going to pay if you don't have any money in your account next month? So those things are all considered. As long as you get that down and you don't overpromise the approval amount, I need $500,000. Great. We can do $500,000 as long as you're doing the revenue to support it. What kind of revenue are you doing? I do $100,000 a month. That is awesome. I mean, you got a successful business. Only downside is maximum will approve is about 2 times. The maximum you can support repayment in the term is about 2 times. That's the maximum. Usually it's 1 to 2 times your monthly revenue is all that you'd be able to support in repayment, because you got to pay it back in 9 months. So you're not doing enough sales. So unless your sales were to triple, you couldn't afford to pay back 500,000 in 9 months. You wouldn't even do that much in sales, or almost that much. So what your business supports. You want to say that a lot. You get approved for what your business can support presently, not your credit score, not what city you're in, or your color, or your gender. They don't even know any of that stuff. We don't ask, they don't ask. All they're looking at is bank statements and spreadsheets, and they're doing analysis and saying, based on this business can support paying back $72 a day only. It doesn't matter how much revenue they're doing. And $72 a day will give them for 8 months, $72 a day, 20 days a month. That is only $1,400 for 1 month. And we'll give them 7 months. We're only going to offer them $9,800. What? You can only support $72 a day repayment. We're not going to put you in over your head. See how that works? They start with what they can support, how long they're willing to give the money for, and that determines the repayment amount. That's repayment. So if they're only paying back $9,800, they may go, okay, you can afford to pay back $9,800 over 7 months. This is a high risk deal. We're only going to give you $6,000, and you got to pay back $9,800. Or we're going to give you $6,500. I'm not doing it for $6,500. Okay, that's all your business can support. You got to know that. So that's a term I use a lot because it's not offensive to them. This is all your revenue can support right now. As your revenue grows, man, if you get 20 grand from us now and your business grows, then in 2 months, you might be at 40 grand a month and your business will support getting 40 or 50 more from the 20 you just got. And then if it continues to grow, your business will support the $400,000 deal that just happened. Our business has supported him along, his business has supported it along the way, continues to grow. So when he says, I want to open another location, the last two deals worked out great. Open a location, drove his sales, got more money, open a location, drove sales, got more money. It's anticipated. Your business supports it. So doesn't matter what your credit score is if your business doesn't support it. Well, man, I got an 800 credit. That's fabulous. Get a credit card then, because we're only going to give you what your business can support, not what your past credit, what you think your past credit supports. It doesn't work that way. So just so you know that, you can set proper expectations now, knowing that. Remember we said business owners are rock stars. Remember we said that they take risks. They don't have guaranteed pay. They put it all on the line. And when they put it all on the line, they got payroll to pay. They pay their employees before they pay themselves. They pay their donut suppliers before they pay themselves. They pay their rent before they pay themselves. They live on the edge every single day. And they know 2 out of 3 of them are not going to make it 10 years. They could get a job at Taco Bell and make more than they're going to make at their business that they're putting up their whole life on the line because they have a dream. They want to make an impact. Now, if you're not thinking about the people that have a dream, and that's why they started the business, if you're not thinking from their point of view, you're not going to get many clients. You're going to stumble into some. But if you can get yourself thinking in their point of view, if you've ever been a business owner, you know what I mean. But if you've never been a business owner, this may be hard to recognize unless maybe you were laid off one time and you had to, you didn't know how you're going to get by. You were struggling. So until a business is paying that business owner good money, which 6 out of 10 businesses today are breaking even or losing money. 6 out of 10 businesses in America today are breaking even or losing money. What's the owner making? What are they putting up at risk? Their house, their car, their kids' sports, their kids' education, their shoes, their clothes, their food, their lifestyle, their health, their stress. They're putting it up all on the line. Now, if you could go to that business who's breaking even or just losing money, and they've got ideas, they think of the personality. It's like going to people who are kayakers and saying, hey, you want to go whitewater rafting? They're not like, I'm afraid of the river. They're like, dude, let's when, where? If you got people that brave and you say, what could you do with 50 grand? Man, what I could do with 50 grand, I would take my business from 50 to 300 in 6 months because I can get you 50 grand, Bill. They've got impact in their head. They go to bed thinking, what do I got to do? How do I turn this around? Should I buy a little this? Should I do a little this? Should I rent some space over here? Should I do this? Can I do this? Should I buy this product? Should I switch my inventory? Should I switch my suppliers? They don't stop thinking about their business until it's running on its own profitable. So when you call them or you reach out to them, if you're not thinking about it, dude, I want to help you make an impact, they're going to go, now you're talking my words because you're thinking about the impact. I opened this restaurant for a reason. I wanted to put my mom's recipes out in this town and I want to open a second location. That's how I want to make an impact. We can get you the money, Bill. Look at where your business supports probably this much. We got to look at some things, your average daily balance and things. But as we look at, we'll see what your business can support. And then what impact can we help you make? I want to help you make the impact. Why'd you start this business in the first place? Why'd you open this location? Why'd you do this? Why'd you get to know a little bit about them? And guess what'll happen? They'll get money from you for the rest of your life as they need it. And hopefully 3 or 4 advances, they don't need it anymore unless they're expanding so fast that they want to buy another location. So for expansion, give them as money as they want. But if they're not expanding and they're just taking money, they got something wrong with their business plan. And that's when you say, you don't go, cool, I'm getting another renewal. You go, hey, dude, let's talk a little bit about how I might be able to assist. So we've helped a lot of businesses. Maybe I got some strategy ideas. What are you doing with the money? How are you doing it? Is there anything else? Help a little bit. Otherwise, they will default. They will go out of business and you'll go, well, I made commission. No, we're not like that. We're trying to empower, fuel businesses, make an impact, not make a dollar on them. We're trying to help them grow to the point where they retire away from us. They don't default because of us. They retire and graduate on. They don't need our funding, or they graduate on with performance where a bank will take over for them. So that's my passion. That's why this company exists. I was that business who could not get funding at my big bank. I didn't know this type of funding existed. I had to sell that company because it was growing too fast. You ever heard of that? You've heard business grow too fast. They can't say business. I used to go, come on, give me a break. You can't manage money then if you're growing too fast for your business. But you know what? Some products take 3 months to make or 3 weeks to make, and you got to put all the costs for that product up now. But you're growing here, so you got to buy 1,000,000 units, but you only sold 300,000 last month. So you've only got the profit from 300,000, and that profit's not more than the cost of buying 1,000,000. So how do you pay for the 1,000,000 inventory when you only sold 300,000 and you need to have it in 2 months and you don't have the money? You go to your bank, right? And what happens when your bank says, sorry, we don't fund you on that, because unless you want to put your house up and unless you want to put this up and that up. And I'm like, well, I need this now. That's a real life story that happened to me. My mom's here with me. It's a real life story that happened to our business. And so it got us in financial. We're like, we either are going to shut down the growth, flatline, which is going to bother people because it was a business like this where you could grow your team and grow your sales, or we've got to sell this. We got to bring on partners. So I first tried to find partners, but then we ended up finding a way to partner it with another company. But I had to do that because we were growing too fast in this type of business. You think this isn't personal to me? I had to partner a business that I built for 8 years, and I had to partner it because of a bank or because it was growing too fast. When it was growing slow, no problem at all. Slow growth was easy to fund, self-fund. Grow fast, that's scary. That's scary because you got to pay for them. Here, there's no inventory in DAC. We have zero inventory. We grow Zoom. We just make more. We don't have any higher costs except staff, personnel. So we've already got our fixed costs covered and we're making a profit. So we're not worried about it. We'll staff up as we grow up. But folks, if you're not thinking that way about the impact you're making, that's why I'm covered. This matters more than all the stuff you already heard. This matters more because this is how you'll relate with business owners and they'll love you for it and they'll count on you. So that's why DAC exists. I own a network marketing company. I couldn't get funding to support the growth. My first company, I had to vacate, mismanagement in my head. I was a young man in my late 20s, early 30s. I brought on partners, gave them control of the company, silent partners. So that one hurt me. Then this one, second one I had to sell because I couldn't afford it. I had a partner. It's still in business and I still, we're royalty partners and stuff, but at least the business is still growing and stuff. But it's not my baby anymore. DAC is. And this one I've learned from the last two. We're not doing it again. But inside, guys, could you imagine, gals, could you imagine one time you sold half your company because you needed the money and it eventually killed you because they wanted to sell the company out from all of the reps? And they didn't, but they wanted to. Could you imagine that? You build it, you start it, you're creating it, and then you give up 51% of the company to fund it because you didn't have enough as you're growing to fund it. So you kept selling equity. Hey, no loans. Yeah, no loans. And then all of a sudden you're in a bad situation because you can't stop a takeover from silent partners in sales. So experience number one, got to learn from that. Never give up control. Experience number two, can't grow too fast because banks don't help you. But I want to grow fast. Okay, got to figure out a way to do that. Services, no inventory costs. You know how many businesses are at risk that sell inventory right now? If they have any lead time when they're doubling in sales, they better have the money to fund that, or they'll be just like us. Now, we can help some. We've helped a lot of home-based business affiliate companies, getting them money to grow through us, helping them. So when you look at this and say how needed this is, people's lives are turned over from not being able to get working capital. 81% said they closed for lack of working capital. 81. Could you imagine if 81% of the employees were laid off because of working capital? Every one of those businesses had employees. None of the impact that you have, the ability that you have that you can save a city, that you can make an impact in that city. When I go into a business, if I'm going to a new market, what you say, we're going to go through it here in a minute. When you go into a new market, attracting customers, we call it canvassing an area. Man, you go in there to help that town. You go in there to help that street. You don't go in there to make a check. You go in there and say, I'm here to make sure that everyone on this block knows that we have working capital. And if they got impact ideas, they got strategies they want to build, I just want to leave my card, get information here, because we love helping business owners make an impact. I've experienced the pain of both sides. That's why it's easy for me to talk to a business owner. I know you may be a little, maybe not. Some of you may be a little intimidated to talk to business owners right now. You just want to put something out there. I get it. but don't think they've got something you don't have. You got what they need. You got what they need. So let's go to attracting customers again. Let me see. Here, we're going to go through this again. Let me see if I can find the right slideshow without attracting customers. I think that's it. Okay, you see attracting customers, guys, on the screen?
Yep.
Thank you, Morgan. Wow, you're still hanging with us. I love it. All right. I just went through this. We don't need to go through every one of these except the bottom. Beliefs matter. You got to believe, and then you'll attract people. There's an old saying, share what you believe, and you'll attract people who believe what you believe. And then you don't have to convince anyone of anything. Alternative capital is the best source of capital for business owners who are under that $500,000-600,000 a month, even under $1 million a month in sales. Revenue-based alternative capital is the best source for 80% of them. Problem is, which provider is the best? Are they going to get declined or approved? Good offer, bad offer. That's why DAC and Bank Breezy is the best source, because if revenue-based capital is the best, and we're the only one that does a look at all the best and provide the best offer, why would they apply direct? Why not find out, instead of just going to Delta, why not go to Travelocity and see what's the best flight price? Right? That's what we do. It's not like you're getting better comfort in Delta over Spirit. I get it. There's a difference. Money is money. You apply and you get 100 grand, you only got to pay 130. You apply somewhere else, get 100 grand, you got to pay 160. You apply somewhere else, get 100, get declined. Obviously, it doesn't matter which one you're dealing with. Every one of our providers is reputable. So,
I want to be sure, sorry, before you go on, we're looking at a slide that just says attracting clients. I'm not sure if you're looking at one with more detail on it, but we're just seeing
Yes.
this one.
I have your beliefs. Okay, so let me stop share and reshare. Your screen sharing is paused. Okay. How did screen sharing? Let me bear with me. Thanks for telling me that, Morgan. Do you guys see a way to unpause my screen share? I see stop share, but I don't see, resume share. There you go. Okay. So tell me when you see, I clicked resume share. It's not sharing yet, is it?
It is not.
Well, let me do it this way. Let me stop share and restart share. Sorry about that. You guys can probably see me. This is good. I'll just restart over screen share. And I'm going to go to me direct, because this screen, I want to be here attracting clients, rather I'd gone 2 slides forward. Okay. It doesn't say pause anymore. Okay, good. Attracting clients. So everything I just said is, we'll make sure that's on this slide, but so we'll pick up from here. So I just shared everything you need to know about the beliefs, right? I just covered it. All about the business owners. You want to focus on how you're helping them. Their options are limited, but their impact is massive. So we want to give them the impact, even though they don't have options for the capital. Alternative capital is the best source for 80% of them. And if you're not sharing it, you're really allowing employees to lose their jobs, business owners to close. All those thousands of businesses we helped, very few have defaulted. Like I said, less than 10 we got a clawback on. So a lot of them don't pay the full thing and have a price and regret getting the money, etc. But many of them grow their businesses up to next levels. But because revenue-based capital is the best source, why use us? Because we represent all the different ones. And money's money. Like Travelocity, you can book a flight through and figure out Delta or Southwest or United and all of those, the best flight. And you may go, yeah, but I like the seating in Delta. So there is a difference in the product. It still gets you to Florida from Michigan, but there is a difference in your flight there. Where funding is funding. You get 100 grand from us. You may get 5 offers from 130 all the way up to 162. And you're like, wow, it's a good thing they didn't go just to the one for 162. Or you might get 7 declines. Think about that restaurant I told you about, the Mexican restaurant that got 100,000 and had to pay back 150, but got declined from all the others. They may have tried one and said, I can't get funding there either, and never put that patio on. But because they came to David Allen Capital, we got them multiple declines, but 1 offer. And they took that one and rent for it. That is the value of what you bring. Not only a heart for that business owner, but you have a funding platform. In the Bank Breezy team, they know how to look at things. They know who to send it to, who's into restaurants right now, who doesn't want restaurant, who wants trucking, who doesn't. And they have a way of understanding this business better than me and better than you. and better than even the underwriters of the companies, because they're only dealing with one company, their own, one president, their own underwriting criteria. Other companies have different underwriting criteria. So it is amazing. And if we get a background decline from 7 banks and the other one hasn't declined yet, Wade's calling them going, hey guys, listen, you don't even have to look at that anymore. It's gotten declined at 3 other companies for background fraud. Thanks, Wade. Those are the type things that why they put ours at the top of the pack. And because we do one-stop best offer, we're the best for the client. We're the best for the client. We're going to find them more declines quicker than anyone else and more offers than anyone else, but their credit score is not impacted. We pull one FICO report. So it's a score, doesn't even hit the credit. And we aim to help clients free application obligation. Okay, here's your mindset. You want to be in a meet, greet, and inform, not sales. You're not selling. Now you may go, well, Dave, that is my sales philosophy. Well, then great. Then that's sales for you. But what we're trying to do is we're getting people to think you're providing a solution. You're not selling. If it's a solution, they should take it and you'll earn money. If it's not a solution, you shouldn't talk them into it. Now, if they don't understand it, educate them. If they're saying, I don't know about daily payments, let them know how much better it is for them. That it's a lot easier to manage a small daily than a big monthly. A clunky payment versus a miniature payment, it's easier. That's why the providers do it. They know what your business can support. And if it's monthly payments, they're going to give you a lot less because they don't know your business can support or your cash flow can have 7 grand sitting in the bank or 3 grand at the end of the month. So this is the way that makes it your business support it without you getting in trouble. So there's 3 plays we have. The business owners can do great things with the capital. We give them a power play or a fuel play. I like to call it the fuel play. We're fueling them. Or they might be in a pinch and we're giving them a relief play. Okay. I was not in that business. I was not in a pinch or relief. I had an opportunity to get a bunch of extra inventory at inventory discount, and I wouldn't be able to handle the growth if I didn't have that bank to help me. So it was an opportunity to fuel. It ended up putting me in a pinch because I couldn't grow my business. And people don't like saying you can't grow or you're going to run out of inventory. So they may say no for right now when you reach out to them. You're planting a seed in the soil. They may say no, but over time, if they need the funding, guess what happens 6 months from now? I remember my wife's first client, she got her nails done one time before Christmas. And you'll see something in a minute, we call canvassing as a customer. And she gave the little card to the person who did her nails. Not even the owner. She said, hey, my husband just started this company. It's business funding, and gave the card. It was in November. It was before Christmas. In January, a month and a half later, she got a application. The woman got 2 or 3 fundings from a card left at a hair salon or nail salon. So they may say no today, but when they need funding, they don't have alternatives. You just want them to know. They may say no, but they need to know we exist. They need to know your name. You need to follow up with them, etc. So part of this philosophy is you're going to want to remember these key points. Our funding is fuel to your strategic ideas, or if you're in a pinch, we approve for 25 to 70% of the monthly revenue. If you're under 15 grand, remember that. If someone's doing 10 grand a month, don't say, yeah, we can probably get you 10 to 20. Remember, it's 1 to 2 times only if they're doing over 15. If it's under 15, it's usually going to be 25 to 50% of what they're doing in revenue is what they can approve for. I'm doing $4,000 a month. We might be able to get you 2 grand. Probably going to be, 1,500 to 2 grand. Oh, that's not enough. Yeah, if it's not enough, we understand. That's what your business supports with this provider. 1 to 2 times revenue if it's over 15 grand though. So you're doing 100,000. So whatever the number is they're looking for, I need to get 300 grand. Remember these points. These are just key points to keep in mind. Same day or next day approval. Revenue matters more than credit score. No real estate collateral needed. When banks don't approve, we can. It's not a matter of if they need funding. It's a matter of when they need funding. They can't get approved at the bank. I remember people used to say I was being dishonest. And one time we had a lady named Patricia PK. She's still an agent of ours, and she used to be a corporate banker. And she'd get on and go, everything you're saying is absolutely true. 100% true. We have to say no to most managers. Don't like saying no to their existing clients. My manager, my bank didn't like saying no to give me money for that juice beverage. He didn't like that, but he had no choice. He was my friend, had no choice. Banked with him 8 or 9 years and had no choice though. But to say, sorry, your business doesn't support it unless you put up collateral. Our bank doesn't give money unless you collateralize it with your property. You don't own this building. You don't own any buildings anywhere except your house. We can do a mortgage on it, but we probably can't get you what you need. So see what I mean? They can't get it. You are their source. You are their source. Here's some key points to remember about our funding. It's a matter of when they'll need it. So target market. This is important, guys. All these things, and these will be bitty sections in the training. That's why I'm going through it a little more complete. Target market, who to approach. Well, every time you start a business, they say word of mouth is the best source of advertising, and your warm market, people who know you, your social network, your friends, your family, businesses you shop at. So you want to get your word out to friends and family first. Even if they're not a business owner, you're simply going to inform them of what you're doing. You get a lot of referrals from them. You inform business owners, you know, then. So your friends, family, social network, you let them know you have like a business launch. I'm now in business funding. I'm so excited. Our company's helped thousands of businesses get funding. I want to help fuel their impact. I want to help fuel their business. Working capital is hard to get. Say whatever you want to say about your coming out party that you're launching. You'll see some ideas here in a few minutes. So get the word out. Then the second step of your target market is inform business owners you know. This is what we call your warm market. Business owners who know you are your warm market. Not business owners you know. You may know the owner of a restaurant, but they don't really know you. You know who they are, but they don't know you. That's not warm market yet. You still are going to approach them, but your warm market are people that know you. Start there. Start there right away. You're just going to inform them. We've got scripts we're going to show you in text and things that you can say ideas. You want to be yourself on how to reach out to them. And then you canvas as a customer, which means you reach out to the businesses where you shop and where you may shop that you've never shopped before. My wife had never been to that nail salon and has never been since. We just happened to be in that town and I was doing something and she said, while you're doing that, I'm just going to get my nails done. And that's how she got that client. So wherever you go as a customer, that's where you canvas. And we're going to show you how to do that in a minute. Networking and canvassing an area. That's a strategic map in your mind. A strategic intersection. You go, I want to make sure everyone at 42nd Street in Maine knows who David Allen Capital is. I'm going to paint that intersection blue, our logo color. I'm going to paint it blue with David Rutz as my name, your name. Billy Blanks is the funding person for this intersection. I'm going to make sure every business owner, and I'm going to tell them that. I'm going to say, I got a passion to help business owners. I'm going to make sure every business owner on this, you don't have to say it with this energy. You say, hey, it's my goal to help every business owner in this intersection here have a knowledge of where they can go if they ever need working capital to grow, expand, or even if they're in a tight pinch. So would it be okay if I leave you my card? Yeah, do you know who the owner is of the shoe store? I'm going to go talk to them. Oh, that's Lisa. Cool. Thank you so much, Mark. Here's my card. I'll check in with you from now and then. If you ever need anything, you give me a call. Nice to meet you. How long have you been in business? Get to know them a little bit. I'm going to go talk to Lisa right now. Is it okay if I tell her that Mark, I just talked to you and she gave me your name? Yeah. Hi, Lisa. How are you? You don't know me directly. I was just talking to Mark across the street. I just wanted to come up.
Stop if you want me to stop talking to you.
Alexa, stop. Love it. Obviously, I need to mute that if it keeps answering me. So apparently, oh, did I say Alexa? I thought I said Lisa, but okay, whatever. She heard me. And the good news
I'm
is,
having trouble hearing.
hang on a
Can
second.
you say that again?
I said stop, Alexa.
Mm.
But now you're muted. I got rejected by Lisa at the shoe store. She doesn't want me to stop. She wants me to stop talking. Said she couldn't hear me. Anyway, I've never had a bad experience doing that, by the way. Never a bad experience. And I haven't done that with thousands of businesses, but I've done it with a lot of businesses. So that's canvassing an area. Promoting on social networks. We're going to show you how to do that, of course. Chambers of commerce and associations is another big one. And then prospecting, just advertising, promoting, just any general area. So those are your areas. So we're going to first go through informing your warm market, non-business owner friends of what you're doing, and business owner friends. Let's look at this. Calling your non-business owner friends, your warm market, and informing them of what you're doing. Hey, I'm not sure if you heard, but I'm now in Business Capital. Oh, really? Yeah, I decided to get real serious with this company because I learned most businesses can't get approved at their bank. And this company really loves to help. The company that was started by a guy who couldn't get funding in his bank. Now they've helped thousands of businesses get funding, and we're really passionate about helping them. So, we even have some instant approval. It's really cool. So I just thought I'd let you know. I know you're not a business owner, but I thought you'd let you know in case you know of any business owners or hear of any talking about, man, I could use some funds, or I just want you to know that that's what we do. Like I said, most can't get approved at a bank, but we can probably help them. So would it be okay if I send you some information maybe email you something in case you come across anyone. You can refer them. Of course, you know my phone number, but would you mind if I send you some stuff? Something that's how you inform them. So you have a coming out party on Facebook, but you also reach out to everyone. How about texting non-business owners? Maybe you don't want to call them. Hey, not sure if you knew, but I'm now in Business Capital. You can stop there for a minute. It's crazy. We just launched an industry changing service. It's instant approval, same day funding. So this could take, 3 texts. So I just thought I'd let you know in case you know of any business owners, please forward my website link. Okay. By the way, if you have time to contact business owners yourself, I can set you up to get paid commissions to get funding from us. Let us know. So that's almost turning it into an affiliate. Okay. Now you can use some of the language from the email or the phone call and change your text up. These are just giving you some examples. How about calling business owners now? So those were for non-business owners, just informing. Now business owners. Hey, Joe, these are business owners who know you, warm market. Hey, Joe, I'm not sure if you know, but I'm now in Business Capital. Oh, really? Yeah. And I'm just I started with a company that is really cool. So I just thought I'd let you know in case your pizza shop, I mean, you've been in business a long time and we love helping business owners. So if you ever need working capital, I'd just like you to know if you ever have an opportunity you want to pursue, we can help you. Oh, really? Yeah. The name of the company is DAC, David Allen Capital. We've already helped thousands of businesses. We even have some instant approval deals, same day funding. So, hey, would it be okay if I send you some information in case you have an opportunity you want to pursue? See, I ventured off of this. If it starts to feel like you're talking too long based on his energy or her energy, you cut it. You get right to the last question. Would it be okay if I send you some information in case you ever have an opportunity you want to improve and make an impact? Or even if you're ever in a tight pinch, can I email you some stuff or text you? Great. I'll send it to you. I'll follow up once in a while. That's simple. By the way, how's the pizza restaurant going? Simple. Texting business owner, warm market, business owners you know. Hey, Joe, not sure if you know it. I'm just checking in because I'm now in Business Capital. It's what I do now. Really? Yeah, we've already helped thousands of businesses in our company. Pause. Wait a second. They may reply, maybe not. New text, though. So I just want to let you know in case your business could ever use some working capital. Pause. Maybe 5 seconds only, but another text. So we love to help businesses pursue their strategies. And I just want to know if it'd be okay if I could send you some information. Pause. If they haven't responded yet, let it sit. But if they responded, say, great. It's 100%. Just another plug from our points to remember. It's 100% online. So education, you're educating them. It's 100% online. And I'd love to be, or I wouldn't be involved, by the way, in the underwriting. So you completely have your privacy. That's important for people you know. How about emailing? Well, that was a text. Or no, that was, I forget what that one was. This was an email. That was a text, yeah. So this one's email. Hey, Bill, how you doing? I'm not sure if you knew, but I'm now in working capital with a company called David Allen Capital. Yeah, we love to help businesses grow. We've already helped thousands of businesses. So I just want to let you know in case you ever, I put their name in there. You at Joe's Plumbing, if Joe's Plumbing ever has an opportunity you want to pursue, or heck, even if you guys are ever in a pinch, you can always buzz me. I've enclosed a link here where you can learn more, but that's what we do. We love to help people. So we really do have a great funding platform. Over 80% of the people who meet the qualifications listed on our site actually get funding offers. So if you want to check out the qualifications, they're in the link. Simple example. So that's informing people you know. A coming out party to the business owners and a coming out party to the non-business owners. It's important. Some people skip that and they'll never get referrals from those people. If your people don't know you're in business funding, they won't call you when they need it. If they don't know you're in business funding, they won't tell their uncle when he needs it, or their brother, or their sister, or their niece. Okay? Now, this is what you do if you want to reach out to when you're reaching out to your cold market. We have many ways because eventually you run out of business owners right? So here's ways you can do it. In person is the most effective. It's not the most efficient unless you turn it into a string of things or you add it to your everyday canvassing as you move around anyway. So as you're going out to eat, you canvass to the owner. If you're getting your dry cleaning, you talk to the owner. If you're going to the driving range to golf balls, you talk to the owner. You're going golfing, you talk to the owner. You're skiing, you talk to the owner. Everything you're doing, you talk to the owner. That way you don't have to add any time to your life to do this part-time. You're always going into establishment. You get gas, walk in and pay and talk to the owner. See what I mean? You just add opportunity by canvassing as a customer. You're already there. Has taken you no time. The second way is a little more inefficient because you're actually setting time aside, but it's very effective if you have a string of, if you say, I'm going to go hit this intersection, that shopping plaza's got 6 locations, that one's got 4, that one there's got 2, and that one over there's got 7. Okay, so there's whatever that is, 18 businesses here in this intersection. I figure I can talk to all 18 in 2 hours. So I'm going to send 2 hours aside. I'm going to go to lunch and I'm going to take an extra, I'll do an hour today and I'll do an hour after work. Whatever. And you go out and you have the conversations you're about to see. It's a conversation with a connection card. So first of all, you order your cards. You can go into your back office in the marketing section and you can get a link to our business card designs. All right. And you can put your website into a QR code, a phone number, an email on this card so that when you leave, you share a card. You can always do business cards, right? But these are postcards that have more information and they're harder to throw away. These are easy to throw away. I can't pull it out, but I've got business cards leveling my tripod right now. So I'm not going to pull them out, but you can, bigger cards are better. Business cards are fine. You may only have business cards with you. You just happen to be there. But when you're intentionally canvassing, bring the larger cards. You don't go with a clipboard. You don't go with a bunch of brochures. You look like you're a salesperson. You're just there to meet, greet, and inform them. You are not there to get them to get funding. You're there to meet them, greet them, inform them, and leave a card behind for when they do want funding. So your relationship, it's like almost like you're getting to know them. Like if you ever had a crush on a girl or a guy, the first time you talked to him, you had your best foot forward to behave and try to have a relationship where it cause a second conversation, right? So that's what you're doing here. You're building a relationship. You want to get to know them. You want to hear about their business. You want, why'd you start this? How long have you been in business? If it comes up, if they're swamped busy, I've been to restaurants before, like Subways, where I'm going through, or I'm picturing one right now. And I was out in Colorado, and I went to this underground food court in a mall, and there was lines everywhere. And I went to one of those Asian places where you walk up and they just scoop it, and there's people all over buzzing around. And I walked up, and when it came time to get mine to the guy, I just set the card on the thing right there. I said, "Hey, I know you guys are swamped. Please give this." Is that the owner back there? You can tell sometimes. Is that the owner? Can you just make sure he has that? Because we love to help business owners get funding. Yeah, Carl takes it. He hands it to him right then. Guy's like, "What's this?" I go, "Just check it out. We love to help businesses. I know you're swamped." I canvassed as a customer. I didn't educate them, but I wrote down the name of the place, and I got to call that place later. I didn't even get the owner's name. I should have said, "What's his name?" But it was inappropriate. They were in a swamped mess of energy. You don't do it then, right? But you can still leave a card. So, but this is what you do. You're just introducing, you're creating a relationship, and it's networking. It's common sense. But if you've never done it, it's good to have a little guideline here. Hey, I just want to introduce myself. My name's Dave. I'm a business capital agent with DAC. I just want to introduce myself because I lead a lot of sentences with that, by the way. It's very comfortable for me. So I just want to introduce myself because we represent funding companies who love to help businesses like this Chinese restaurant. So I just want to introduce myself, leave this card in case you ever have an opportunity you want to pursue, or if you're ever in a tight pinch, man. Big banks are great, but when they can't help, we usually can. So want to give you this card, keep it. And if I can ever help you, reach out. Would it be okay? Yeah. Hey, by the way, can I get your email? And I may reach out periodically if we ever have any specials or anything. Oh, I'm okay. Yeah, no problem. Okay. What's your name, by the way? Tim. All right. Tim from Joe's Pizza. All right. Tim, Joe's Pizza. What do I do when I get home? Look up Joe's Pizza on Google and write down the phone number. Tim, here's the number. Follow up. 5 or 6 days later. Hey, I left that card the other day. I just thought I'd call and talk to you. Find out if you had a chance to look at that. You ever thought about what you might be able to do if you had working capital? Not do you need money right now. Have you ever thought about what you might be able to do if you got your hands on some working capital, what you could do for your business? Hey, I'm totally cool. Hey, no problem. Keep my card on file. I'll check back once in a while in case you're ever in a pinch or anything, or you have an expansion idea, a brilliant idea to make an impact. We want you to know you're our funding source. I'm never trying to get the money right now. People who try to do that scare the relationship away. You're trying to understand that business owner will one day have a strategy that requires money, or will one day be a pinch that they need money and they want them to think your name. You only talk to them one time. They ain't thinking your name. unless they happen to have, like my wife's, they put the card aside and they go, they didn't call her, they applied at the link. Right. In fact, my wife has never talked to her since, except that one time. I've talked to her many times, but my wife never has. So build a relationship. You'll get funding. The Connect cards work. They create a connection, but build a relationship. Here's what they look like. You got the back of the card. Let me go through this again so you can see the front of the card and the back of the card. They may just come up real fast. So, but you can get these right from your back office. This will be edited out. So look at it again. It makes sense. I think this, you can change yours up. You're meeting, greeting, and informing. So, sorry, you can't see the front of the card. But this is what the back of the card looks like. The front of the card would just says, when the big banks can't help, we can. One-stop best offer, simple and fast business funding. It's got a picture of some business owners. All right, so that's Connect Card Conversations, which are canvassing as a customer and canvassing an area. Now, he or she who monopolizes the area and colors the town blue first, someone's going to color your town blue. It's just like if someone wanted to sell a home, there's already real estate agents in my neighborhood that I know of who I'll go to. Even if someone gets in real estate tomorrow, they've already got themselves planted. Unless it's someone in my friends and family real close to me, I already know who my real estate agent is, right? It's planted. Our flag's already planted in our neighborhood. This one gal I'm thinking of sells probably 10 homes a year out of our neighborhood, just because she lives here and she's already planted a flag. It's very hard to get another sign in this neighborhood. So, small community, she's the girl. Why don't you become the guy or the girl in your community for business funding? Get to know the bank managers. I've had referrals from bank managers to me. They can't approve them. They don't want to say no. They say not us, and they refer. So go in and meet with them. Say, I want to, we'll talk about that with associations. Now, how to use the phone to call your cold market. Now, keep this in mind. There's telemarketing rules. There's something called the TCPA compliance. You cannot dial people who are on the do not call list. You can't call people on their mobile phone unless they've advertised that mobile phone for business. And so you don't want to just sit there and start telemarketing a bunch of people. All right. But you can call a business that's advertising. You can check the do not call registry for a phone number if you want. If you see a van driving down the street and it says 247-333-3333, you can call them and say, hey, I just drove by your van. Talk to them. That's fine. It's an advertised phone number. All right. But you can't use predictive dialers. You can't use telemarketing machines. You can't use deposits of voicemails. There's people advertising that stuff. It's illegal. You pay a fine over $1,000 per voicemail left. If you get caught, companies have been shut down because they got caught doing that. Didn't know it was a crime. So if you ever think about using a predictive dialer or a dialing machine, those are illegal. You can't do that. It's called the TCPA Act. We've got telemarketing rules and regulations in our company. Even if you're not calling 700 people a week, if you're calling 70, if you're calling 7, you want to make sure you read those and you understand them. And you can't just do blind voicemail drops. This company will say, I will leave you 3,000 voicemails if you give us $1,000. Okay, well, your number's on it. You're liable. Doesn't matter if they said you could do it. You're liable. So don't use any predictive dialers. Don't use any dialing machines. You pick up the phone. You dial one at a time. If you're one of those people who goes, you hear, zoop, beep, beep. Hello, is this David? That's illegal. That's an automated dialer. Illegal. It is illegal. Don't use them. Ever. Doesn't matter what a telemarketing company tells you. They're not liable. You are. Don't use them. One at a time. All right. So phone cold market. Those who don't know you. Here's a sample informing of someone you don't know you, but you're going to relate. The first sentence is critical. You don't know me directly, but I. If you don't use this is science behind this. There's 2 words in here. You don't know me directly, but I. So but I, and then relate. And then the second sentence, because there's so much science behind those 2 words of not forcing compliance, but giving comfort to the person on the other end. Hey, can I cut into this line because I'm running late for my daughter's appointment? Hey, can I cut into this line? Which one do you feel more comfortable saying yes to? The because. You gave it could be a silly reason. Hey, can I cut out in this line because I didn't get here in time? Hey, can I cut out in this line because I'm really stuck in the back? I mean, it's interesting the silly things they tested and proved. So if you choose not to do these, you get to. We train what works best. We don't train what works. We see every funding. And when anyone who's gotten a lot of fundings, we ask, what are you doing? Okay, so we're teaching what works best. You don't ask, you don't bring your own McDonald's hamburger frying plan to the franchise. You use theirs. And if yours is better, you tell the corporate and they work on it together. And if they prove it's better, they use yours. But until then, use theirs. They've already gone through how many renditions of hamburger makers and milkshake makers and right? Although their ice cream machines are garbage. Hello, you don't know me, but they own the service company. So 1 and 1 equals a lot of extra money. You don't know me directly, but I just saw your truck on Main Street when I was going by. That's how you relate. It's now it's private. You don't know me directly, but I was referred to you from Mark across the street. You don't know me directly, but I also went to Eisenhower High School. I saw you went to Eisenhower. You don't know me directly, but my daughter is also in dance. And so you got this dance studio. I thought I'd reach out to you. You don't know me directly, but it doesn't matter what the reason is as long as it's in your heart real. You don't make it up. You don't know me directly, but I shopped at your store last week. That's a lie. Don't do it. We're not going to honor God in that. We want to honor God in our business. We don't want to. We do. We make mistakes. Don't do anything purposely, intentfully wrong. You won't be blessed. You may win in the short term, but you'll be doing something else one day. DAC will not be your home. You'll eventually vet yourself out or burn yourself out. So just be honest, and you'll have people referring you. People who focus on the mission of serving clients will get a lot of commissions. You focus on the commission instead of the mission, you end up not making a lot of commissions. All right. So you don't know me directly, but you don't know me directly, but you don't know me directly, but I was in there, had soup the other day, and I asked for you. You weren't in, but they told me your name. So I'm just reaching out to introduce myself because I'm in business funding and we just love to help businesses like yours. You had a great soup. And I just want to introduce myself and make sure you know who I am. We've already helped thousands of businesses already. So I was just wanting to introduce myself and see if it'd be okay if I could send you some information in case you ever had an opportunity. Yeah. And if they're not blitzed rush, you call them at a good time between 2 and 4 as a restaurant, before 8 a.m. as a restaurant. If you call them at a good time and then you don't feel the tension of rushness, of understaffed, overworked owner, if you don't feel that, it's okay to say, by the way, how long you guys been in business? Yeah, the soup was amazing. Is that like your soup of the day always? Or start having some dialogue. Why'd you start? What was your passion for starting the company? Was you just love to cook, or you an entrepreneur, or well, I actually took it over from my grandma and did it. You just have some dialogue. You don't have to end it with this. This is just the opening. But you also don't have to say all this if they're slam busy. If you hear slam busy, you don't know me directly. I just, I saw your truck drove by. Yeah, dude, I've got a van full of people right now. We're going to do a roof. Hey, no problem. I'll try you another time. Would it be okay if I just email you something about our company? We do business funding. I just want you to know who we are. Yeah, send me an email. Great. Would you rather I just text it to you? I've got your mobile. Should I just text you? Yeah, just text it to me. Great. I'll text you. We'll talk. I'll follow up another time. Thanks, buddy. Bye. So kill the call quickly. Even if that means, hey, I'll call back another time. I can tell you're swamped. When you call back, hey, remember I called you yesterday, you were swamped. I said I'd call you back. They appreciate you respecting their time. Other hot points during your reach out to know. Number one, hang on, it's coming up now. I got a slow animation. We just launched our instant funding. We even have same day approval. It's crazy how well this is working for business owners. We've helped thousands already. Would you like me to send you that link so you can see how much you can get? By the way, it's a soft credit pull. Okay. So all those hot points are additional points you can say. So now let's go on to emailing. Hey guys, if you just emailed, I remember I did this with my 15-year-old daughter. I said, I just want to try something. I want you to email 20 people and I'm going to put a little code on it so I can know if they opened it. And of the 20, we tried different subject lines. And the subject line that worked most was a relatable subject line that was private to them, number one. And she got one application out of those 20 emails. It's unusual. But she only had 14 of the 20 open it. If you send a direct email to 20 people, you'll get no one open it. First of all, it'll probably be blocked as spam. You send multiple emails with links in it. Google doesn't accept them. Half your people you're emailing have Google. Yahoo doesn't accept them. So they're not even getting through. I email 200 people a day. Yeah, they're not getting through unless all 200 are written uniquely. Okay, changed up a little bit, so which is hard to do. But if you email people with a real intent to try to meet, create, and inform, and you write something privately, like um, email subject line, always relate with something unique about them in the subject line, something like saw your card at Milford Starbucks, saw a truck on Highland Road. That's email. Your voicemail yesterday. We talked Monday, if you did. Had your soup Tuesday. It doesn't have to say business, capital, it doesn't get open. That stuff doesn't get open. What gets open is something that sounds not non-business, but personal. Like you're not a spammer. You're actually writing to an individual. It went to her email and it says something in the subject line that actually relates to her. So if you're doing it the other way, stop. It's got to be short as well. Like here, saw a card in Milford Starbucks. If you put things that cause spam blockers, links, bold words, um, um, bold meaning all caps. What do you call those things? Emojis, all those type of things, spam blockers many times kill them. All right. So don't do that. Just say something unique. Multiple same subject lines, spam blockers, love it. Bye, because they're getting them all at the same time. Right. And they start seeing things from you sending out. Try that on Facebook. Go in Instant Messenger and use the same message over and over and watch. Eventually, your privileges to message people will be gone because you're spamming people. Even if they're your friends. If they're your friends, copy, paste it, but change it. Change it a little bit. And so simple things, but computers, I mean, AI can write a paragraph for you. You think they can't tell that you're sending the same thing to a bunch of people? So make these real private emails and you'll have success with it. You'll know they're getting open and you'll have success. The good news about our app that's coming, the good news of our app is when you send an email, you can tell if you open it. You send a text, you can tell if they open it. You send a video, you can tell if they watched it. So you'll have some feedback, engaging feedback. And then add them to your client relationship after you email them so you follow up. Okay. Even if they don't reply, email and say, hey, I sent you an email when you do call them back. All right. So here's an email, business owners you don't know. Hello, you don't know me directly, but I just, same relating. Of course, the subject line already said it. Saw a truck at Walmart. What's this? The guy's going to go, or the girl's going to go, what? Saw your roof advertisement on the billboard. What's that? Hey, buddy, you don't know me directly, but I saw your billboard on I-96. I don't need a roof right now. You got to say that. I don't need a roof right now, but if I ever do, I'm glad to know you exist. I just want to introduce myself because I'm in business funding and we love to help business owners in the roofing industry grow. You obviously got a good business, you're advertising, trying to create growth. And so I just wanted to reach out in case I can ever help you make an impact. We've already helped thousands of businesses. So, if you ever have an opportunity you want to pursue or you're in a tight pinch, I want you to know. So I've attached some information here. I'll reach out and talk to you as well. Feel free to buzz me or you can learn more here. But hey, rock and roll with that. I hope that billboard produces results for you. And looking forward to catching up and getting to know you better. That's an email. Now, if that's read, does that sound salesy? To some, but is it truthful? Did I see it on a billboard? Yes. Did I need a roof right now? No. Do I really want to help business owners? Yes. Did I send the link? Yes. And by the way, another thing in blockers, if the link is in your signature, it won't hit as many spam blockers as if you put it up in the paragraph. So it's better to just put it in your email signature than putting it somewhere in one of the paragraphs. Like, here's my link up there. It's better to just have it below your signature and you can say, hey, my link is right below in my signature. Okay, so that is some good information about email. These are just examples. Texting, same thing, those you don't know. Same difference, it's just got TCPA laws, so you want to make sure you understand that. You understand when you can and can't do it. It's a business advertising, one at a time you can do it. But I still, if I'm going to do I don't do mass texting ever. But if I were, I would check them all on the do not call registry first. Okay, because mobile phones are protected even more because they have to pay a fee sometime for the minute. They actually have to pay to receive that text, right? So if they're advertising the number, it's one thing. If you have a relationship with them and they said it's okay, it's one thing. But if you just get a bunch of mobile numbers and start texting them, I got 4 today. I'm renaming some of them TCPA violations. because they're totally hammering me with auto dials, line texts, and we've been sued 6 times at DAC. So don't do it. We've won every time, but the rep becomes liable if you're the one doing it. So we don't want you doing it. Follow the rules. I don't want to scare you, but don't be buying lists that, oh, they are cleared. If just because they say they're cleared doesn't mean they're cleared. These lists people are selling leads. We don't know how they got them. You don't know. It doesn't matter what they say how they got them. You're liable when you're making the call, not them. You can try to put it on them. The courts don't care. You're responsible to check the do not call list yourself. So just be careful. You don't know if they're advertising that number or not. Now, a text. Now, this is not all one text. Hey, you know me directly, same thing, but I just saw your truck on Main Street. I just want to introduce myself because we're in business funding. We'd love to help businesses in the limousine industry grow, expand to new markets, etc. Pause. No answer in a couple seconds. Anyway, we've helped thousands of businesses. Pause. No answer, few seconds. So I just want to let you know, you can make 3 minutes if you want. You decide. But the fact that it's separate text instead of all one big one, they may read it all at the same time, but they could see you sent it different times. So wait a minute or two. So I just want to let you know in case you ever have an opportunity you want to pursue with your limo business, or heck, even if you guys are ever in a pinch. That's it. If they say, cool, I'm okay. No problem. Would it be okay if I send you information about our funding in case you can store it for future? No, I'm good. No problem, bud. Thanks. Appreciate you. Hey, what type of limo stuff do you specialize in case I ever need a car to the airport or in case I ever need? You still want to help them. You still want to refer them whether they want your funding or not. You're building a relationship. They may go, you know what? That dude's cool. He really does care about my business. My uncle needs funding. I'm going to refer him. And that's what you can do when you start talking, having conversations. You can say, do you know anyone else who needs funding? Social posts. The most effective social posts. We've got social squares for you to use and stories in the Agent Resource Center. But the most successful are educational Facebook videos, YouTube videos, Twitter videos, well, not Twitter, X, social educating videos. It draws an audience. You can say it in a 30-second reel. You know, hey, business owner, I'm in business funding. We love helping business owners. You started a business, you want to make an impact. We want to help you. If your bank can't help you, let me know. Something like that. I mean, it's got to be real, not salesy, but educating pages. So posts of stories, testimonials, just help. We just helped. So when you hear stories, you heard me say we helped someone get $199,000 today. This is their 3rd or 4th funding. You can say helped another business get $199,000 today. This is the 4th advance they've gotten from us. You want to grow your business? Let us be your source of capital. You know, something like that in your Facebook. It's okay if your friends see it over and over. You know how many friends, you know how many of my friends have seen Facebook posts about funding? Here's the good news. Here's the good news. You know how many of them have referred me clients and they don't own businesses? Your friends don't know you're in real estate. They won't use you when they need to sell a home, and they won't tell your friends. Your friends don't know you're in business funding. Guess what? They're joining other home-based business companies because they don't even know you exist or we exist. And they're not telling their friend who needs business capital about you. Social parties, Super Bowl parties coming up. They're all going to be talking to 20, 30 people, some of them. And if they know you're in business funding before that day and someone's talking about their business, how's your business going? Dude, good. Hey, do you ever need funding to grow it? Because one of my friends just posted something unique on Facebook. I'll send you the video when I get home. But if you don't, they don't mention you at Super Bowl. The difference between those who do well and don't do well is the ones who do well do it. They promote it. They don't sell it. They encourage and they inform. They educate. That's it. Quick review. We have a solution for 80% of the business owners out there. Banks are great for the 20% of them, but we're great for the other 80. You're great for the other 80, right? The other 80 count on you. We have a cure for the working capital disease. Our beliefs, business owners, they're rock stars. They got great ideas in their mind, but they'll need money to create that impact. Their funding options are limited. Their revenue-based funding is their best source. We're the best source of revenue-based because we have a wheel that funds them all, finds the best offer from all the best, and provides only the best offer to the client. They win because of that. simple efficiency and best pricing. One application, no obligation. It's all online. Our online sequence is the simplest way and one-step best offer free application. So we partner with the best funding platform out there. We can do all the best sources and we got the best experts. You simply inform, the experts do the work. Meet, greet, inform is our mindset. It's not if they need funding, it's when they'll need it and who do they know does it at that time. Is it you? Or do they go to Google and search someone because they don't know you? Do they think of you is the question we need to ask. So with that, folks, I'm done. A lot of information, but that doesn't mean some stuff couldn't have been missed. And so this is when we're going to go to some questions. I know it's late. And by the way, staff team, support team, if there's not chat, I don't expect all of you to stick around. You guys are up early working all the time and I can field the questions. If you guys can just tell me which ones there might be in the chat and then we'll go. So if you got any questions, guys, I'd love to take them if I can help with anything. I know it's a long time and your questions will not be on the videos. So if you're worried about, I want to keep my privacy, we're going to take what we just did and we're going to chunk it into many videos, edit some things out, add some things to it, and update some training videos. So this is the basic training. Of course, don't forget Wade Cordell does Bank Breezy funding trainings every single Wednesday, and there's a bunch on our YouTube page. He gets into a lot of other things beyond just these basics, but we needed a new updated basics of all the terms, conditions, what to say, text, email, etc. Just so we have a basic foundation there for everyone, so that people know where to go if they want to pursue funding. This has been enough of a foundation. Of course, talk to your enrollers and their up team who are successfully getting clients. Get on the Wednesday. If you can get on Wednesday every week at 11:30 and ask Wade questions, that day it's probably funded a bunch of customers already. So he's got so much success doing this. He doesn't balk at someone go daily payments. He doesn't think for a second about someone saying daily payments. He knows I just educate him. I just educate them on how daily payments is actually better for them. And it allows this industry to exist. So unfortunately, if they can get monthly at their bank, they should. But if not, this is the only way they can get funding. So wouldn't it be easier to have $1 or $17 a day than, $17 a day than 400 a month? Yeah. It's your car. Sure. Okay. So any questions from anyone? I'm going to check the chat myself. Support team, do you see any questions from chat?
I don't have any in the chat.
A lot of them are direct message to me. I wonder if that's a setting we have. You set off my Alexa too. Thank you, Harlequin. I bet a bunch of people are going, please repeat, a bunch of Alexas. And mine's connected to my upstairs. And so I'm sure they're up there going, Dad, what are you doing? I'm in my home office right now. How does a Canadian program work? Uzo, hope I got your name right, Uzo. It works the same. We just don't have as many funding partners up there. When they click on US or Canada in the app sequence, I didn't show that on here, but one of the questions asked is US or Canada. If they click on Canada, it links them. Bank Breezy takes it and they just apply it to Canadian funders. Obviously, the money is converted to US when we upload it, and you get paid your percentage of the US funding, not in US dollars. And it takes longer because we're not paid as rapidly with them. And so it's usually about 2 weeks before you're paid on those. It's slower. We're hoping that can speed up, but not just yet. Have reference sheets been updated recently? Yeah, they're updated. They have the revision date on the front. So you can go to the Agent Resource Center and check there, and the most up to date are listed. But we always put the date on the front page or somewhere on there so you know if you've already got the latest version. Okay. Someone saying I have a question. Go ahead and type it in here. A couple people are saying I've got questions. I've got questions. Please go ahead and reply to my chat directly. I'll look at it again. And then if you've got any questions out there in the live audience, go ahead and use your virtual hand raise, or we'll bring this home.
Matt Dehane has his hand up. You can go ahead and unmute yourself, Matt.
Thank you, Morgan. Thank you, Matt.
Hey, David. It's 1:05 a.m. here in the continent of South America, in this foreign country that I'm able to do this wonderful business from. So people are on here. I see all the time, and there's some new folks, some of my new agents on here. I just really felt compelled to throw this out because, you're doing this. Training was excellent, by the way, excellent, and break it into little segments, especially the prospecting quadrant, how you approach with the text and simplicity of it, and the cold calling, which is what I do, right? Okay. Guys, you're out there. It's the public service announcement. David knows how many business owners I've helped, right?
Yeah.
Get funding, quite a bunch, right? And in 6 years. And, here's something that you got to run into, get in your mind, because a lot of folks, and you said initially with the restaurant lady, your first customer, right, with the restaurant patio, you were embarrassed to tell her about the cost. You thought it was too much in your mind, and in her mind it was cheap, and because of her benefit, right? Because the benefit of those funds far outweighed whatever your perceived your perceived notion of what was expensive, right?
Great
So there's
point.
two.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's price or cost. It comes down to that. The cost of not having the funds is far and above whatever the price of the money is. So just get that straight, guys. If you're having issues with it, I did initially too. And I'm Mr. I just took off with this, right? Now, here's the last thing I got to say that anybody's on here listening. Please understand, when they ask you during the course of those conversations, that sounds great. Okay. Hey, it's simple and fast. It's, your cash flow is more effective, your credit score, those bullet points. I just want to let you know, I'm here to help, when you need funds and you've got an opportunity you want to pursue. Would it be okay if I shoot you my website, my link for you to just check it out, save it for one? Sure. Well, okay. So what are the rates? Now, I'm just going to throw this out, guys. You want them to ask you that question. When I started my first year, I was terrified. They were going to ask me what the cost was because I was worried that, it was expensive and, maybe not. No. They don't ask you that question unless they need you. They don't ask that question unless they have an opportunity they want to pursue. They don't ask that question unless they're in a pinch. Their pizza oven just busted, right? They don't ask that question if they can't make payroll. They're asking you to save face. They don't want to be taken advantage of, and they're going to gauge your response to their perceived intellectual, exercise of what's your rates, right? They're not an accountant. They're not balancing. They don't even know, but they want you to come and respond to them with integrity. So I'm just going to throw, it's not a training. This was a training, right? And this isn't going to be recorded. But for anybody who's still on here, I stayed on till 1 o'clock in the morning, my time, just to make sure I didn't put myself on camera. But I wanted to be sure that I could share this little tidbit, guys. I mean, this is for everybody's benefit, so why not? Okay, so what do you say? It's like, and we're not using a form of sales technique, right? Like David said, we're not selling. But you got to prepare yourself for that question. Don't be unprepared. And my preparation, and the thing that I found that works works effectively, that helps them most effectively, examine their use of their funds, not the price of the money. So that's the key. So write it down. Get a paper out, guys and gals, and write down. You want to help them take their shift and their focus away from the price, because that's not what they're really asking you about. What they're really saying is, please help me. Don't hurt me. I need you. Oh, okay. So don't hurt me is basically, okay, they want to know what the cost of the funds are. They're asking, so what's the rates? Is this hard money? Anything related to that, just reply. So you're asking what the total cost of the funds might be if you're approved, correct? Now you've got to qualify. Why am I saying that? We understand that they might be declined, but there's a hope that they could be approved. You're saying, oh, you're asking me what the total cost might be if you're approved, correct? For the fund? Yes. Ask the question, what are your deposits per month been for the last 3 months? I asked that question because it's relevant to what they can possibly get. You're being responsible. You're being responsible to them. So you're doing them a disservice by not helping them examine A, what they can anticipate, setting the correct expectations. And number two, now you're going to help them pursue the use of those funds. This is like an advanced training, but you're doing the advanced training. So I'm throwing this out there. I'm telling you, this is what you have to do. This works to help them see it's not expensive if their benefit and use of the funds is valuable to them in their minds. And they're going to take that money and turn it into multiples of whatever they might get. Okay. What are you depositing per month? 50,000. Is that normal? Yeah. Well, it depends. Well, is that your low month or high? Well, that's my high month. So what's your low? About 30,000. So what's 40,000 in the middle? I say, okay, if you had 40,000, but David said earlier, in your bank, let's say 2 or 3 days from now or sooner, would you be able to put it to work to help your business? That's the question. Hell yeah. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Heck yeah. Of course. They might even tell you what they're going to do with it. They're anxious sometimes. Say, oh my gosh, yeah, I was going to put a patio on this freaking restaurant because I can't keep up with it. Oh, okay. So you tell me that. So if you had that patio, would it at least double in value for you in the next 10 months through the year? If you did, heck yeah, more than double. They all say it. I'm not, if I get to that point in the conversation, they ask me because they're in need. They want to know I'm not going to hurt them. They want to see my response, and I'm helping them examine the use of the funds. They're going to say, they won't tell you sometimes. Say, oh yeah, it'd be great if I had that. And you have to find out what would you do with the money then. Oh, well, I was going to hire some crew, and I was going to advertise, put a big sign on my my pizza shop. I was going to do this and that. Okay, well, if you had this A, B, and C, all those things they told you, would that really? You think that might what would that be worth to you? Would it at least double in value to you in the next year? Because that's the term of our funding maximum, usually 8 to 12 months. So oh yeah, more than double. They have most of them say more than double, like more than double. Are you kidding me? Oh, okay. So then I think we'll probably get you approved. Number one, you might get this done in a matter of a day or two. Would it be okay if I shoot you the link now for you to apply? It takes 15 minutes, and I'll get right on this for you. Absolutely done. Thank you. Next. And they're like, wow. So they're saying, so if you had $50,000 deposited, that's their monthly revenue in your business bank account. They're looking at their balance in their mind and seeing it going from $4,500 to $54,000. And they're saying, and they're like, oh my God, if I had that, I could do this and that and that. So you're helping them explore the use of the funds, getting their mind off the cost because it's irrelevant if their benefit is greater than the price. End of story. Good night. I'm going to sleep.
Love it. Matthew, that was awesome. That was awesome. Call in at 2 in the morning more often. Or 1 in the morning. I didn't know you were 2 hours ahead. I thought you were only 1. But that's cool. Argentina, living it up in Argentina. All right. 2 more. That was fabulous. And I love that because you're not getting them 50,000. You're getting them 100,000. People don't buy a drill because they want a drill in their toolbox. A 1/4-inch drill is bought because they want a 1/4-inch hole. You don't get 50 grand from us because you want 50 grand. You get 50 grand from us because you want to put in place the opportunity that turns into 100 a month, right? So you've got business ideas that you want to implement. You're not getting 50 grand to put in the bank. You're launching your brilliant idea that you can turn into $1 million or more, right? So I love that concept of helping them examine their use of funds. And if they don't have one yet, then it's a rescue play generally. It's like, I got to pay rent. And they may not tell you that. And it's good to have your antennae up. All right. Someone else said, asked a question. I know the initial credit pull is soft. What about at final underwriting? When you watch the Giggle training, you'll see the final underwriting after they've accepted the offer is a hard pull. At Giggle, the small funding, hard pull. The large funding, not a hard pull ever. I shouldn't say ever. I guess there could be a case if they see something and they're concerned, but our underwriters count on the FICO score only. They don't look at the credit score. If that score says 672 and everything else looks good, it's good. If it says 560 and everything else is good, maybe they'll charge a little less because of some credit issues, but they're or approve a little less, but they're not pulling a hard pull. So Giggle, yes, always. Bank Breezy retained funding, the bigger funding, no. FICO score only. Someone said, can you talk a little bit more about the CRM you mentioned earlier? The CRM I talked about two things. I want to make sure we're not mistaken. The CRM I mentioned is Bank Breezy as a CRM that every client goes into so that the internal Bank Breezy team can work on the file. It's not a CRM for you guys. It's a CRM that Bank Breezy uses, and that talks to DAC. So you get real-time status updates. It sends you emails. It sends client the emails. It sends packages to the funders. So it's a CRM used by Bank Breezy. It's not used by you guys, although you get benefit from it because the packages move quick. You get automatic status updates and you get statuses sent into DAC without having to call your client or call into Bank Breezy. So that's the CRM. But I also mentioned we've got an app coming out where you'll be able to list all your contacts. So I've got it on my phone now, and I can open up every one of my contacts and I can send a video to them. And I'm pinged when they open the video. And I pinged if they click on the link to learn more. I know it, right? I can text people. I can put it in a social post. If I put in a social, I won't know who clicked on it, of course, but I'll know it got clicked on. So you can test emails, you can test different things, and you'll know activity. We're also going to reward activity. We're going to track activity. We're going to see who's actively prospecting and who's not. It's going to have all the trainings right into it. So you'll be able to send, let's say you have a new rep and you want to send a new affiliate and you want to send them this business funding training. It's in their welcome sequence, but they haven't watched it yet. And you want to send it to them. You'll know if they opened it or not. So there's things you can track, basic things like Matt just went over the rates. We've got a video. What are the rates? If someone says, hey, well, send them that video and see if they watched it. So you'll be able to take any videos that are in our back office and in our app and send them. By the way, the app is also going to be web-based. You'll be able to do it right from the computer. And we're real close. We have some buttons in there that pull real-time data from your back office that had to be integrated. So that's all done now. There's a couple of contests, we call them, which is really almost like streaks in video games. If you do a certain amount of activity this week, you get a flag, let's say. And if you do it again next week, you get another flag. And then we start to recognize those who have regular, consistent activity. So we're doing things to gamify it a little bit, and we're going to have some fun with that, but all in the intention of overcoming human nature. Because you and I both, with the right incentive, I'll go to the gym every day. The right incentive should just be my health. Human nature, it's not a strong enough incentive. For you, it is. For me, working every day on this business is a strong enough incentive. For you, it may not be. So we all have our thing that we have no problem doing. So we're going to gamify it a little bit to help encourage you and your team and me to be more active. So hopefully that answers your question. It's not a CRM, but it will allow you to put your contacts in and set follow-ups and do things like that. But it is not a full-fledged CRM. It's just got some real cool features. Okay, that's all the questions. And Matthew, thank you again. Thanks everyone else. I'm surprised there weren't any other questions, but it's great with Wade doing the training so much. And then of course, all this information will soon be available in your Agent Resource Center as we put it in pieces. God bless you all. Have a great night. Friday will be today's Tuesday. Tomorrow, Bank Breezy funding training with Wade Cordell at 11:30. If you've got questions, you want strategy ideas, you want to take it to him and be there 11:30 live at DAC Zoom. You can watch it on YouTube, but you can talk live on Zoom. And then Friday we'll have an agent update, and I'm expecting some breakthroughs on some things this week. So some of the log jams are breaking. God bless you all. Have a great night. Thanks for being with me. And let's go out there and serve clients. Build your own commission by serving the mission.